2000s trap.
Facts.
It's just us three.
Listen to the album, Ken.
I did listen to the album, Spike. Yeah, I did listen to it. No, I don't know where Shelton and Nick are, but
okay.
You know,
You didn't like it? What you thought about it, Ken?
I was gonna see if you know.
Nick already came on deck and hated on it.
Yeah, I got you.
He was hating big time, FIFO.
It sounded like that. Look, when Ken sounded like that, that's
he don't like it either. Right? See, they still stuck on y'all. Still stuck on how you look.
It's not how you look anymore, Spike. It has nothing to do with how you look anymore, bro. No, man. What year is it, Spike? It's 2025, bro.
Hey, man, see what I said is, and what I think, for the people that still like that type of music, he's restoring the feeling for them. I mean, this is not for everybody. I will admit that, but for the people like that want to hear that in 2025, like he's doing a good job at doing it. I will say that.
Can we not say the same thing about Griselda when they started to explode?
From a New York standpoint.
Yeah, like what are you talking about? Like at the end of the day,
I think that sound and in that pocket of rap is equivalent to a traditional sound that you hear in jazz. Like there's a signature sound that you hear in jazz. There's a signature sound that you have with R&B. I think that sort of hip hop has a signature sound out west. And then what happens is you have trends that come in and kind of have a moment. With this is stuck in a time capsule back in T.I. days.
What's wrong?
And he's not that good of a rapper. It's like there's nothing special, bro. It's like, what you trying to do? The
special thing about it is nobody else does it now. Nobody does this style of rap. I don't know. I don't think there's a good reason for it.
Spike just want to go back to that time. That's why he enjoy it. That's why he enjoy it. He want to go back to that time. He can't get out of it. That's why he can't enjoy music today, because he want to go back to that time, and that's why he enjoy that shit. That's
part of it, Jalen.
Spike, I was so disappointed in you, bro. Like I listened to that shit. I was so disappointed. I listened to this and I was waiting for the good. I was waiting for
disappointed is a strong word, Ken. Come on now. It restores the feeling.
No, Ken, I didn't want to disrespect Lou and be a hater. But once he said that, and I was like, out of everybody, he said, Kyle, check this out. I was like, bro.
That means he about to disrespect.
He about to bro. Right. First of all, that's the last.
The album cover even looks like, what is this?
We just talked about this yesterday on Deck TV. I told he tried to promote. I was like, bro, get this out of my face, bro.
Stop it,
this shit is.
But you listen to Key Glock, Nick.
Key Glock,
that's what I don't understand.
You the only one.
Hold on. What is he, Ken? What Key Glock is?
Key Glock actually, I fuck with Key Glock.
Yeah, Spike.
A lot of people do, except for Lou.
And I don't understand how you don't like Key Glock, bro.
Yeah, me neither.
How y'all do?
How
you hate him? I don't hate him, but like, if I want to hear that type of music, Belly Gang is what I want to hear. I don't want to hear.
That's insane to say, bro.
They make.
I'm just saying, man.
You tripping? You tripping, Spike?
Yeah.
I got your back on Belly Gang, but to say Key Glock is not nice, that I can't support that.
No. I'm not saying he's not nice. I get what he does. It's cool, like for somebody younger than me, but I'm not listening to it, bro. Like
all them joints that he been dropping so far, hey, I've been fucking with him.
You like that guy, bro?
Nice, bro. Them singles off this upcoming album, bro. Yeah.
He's a good artist, but I'm not listening to it. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Glockavelli drops this Friday.
And the crazy part is, he over here promoting an Atlanta nigga over a Tennessee nigga is crazy.
Yeah,
that's why he ain't
crazy.
That's Memphis.
That's Memphis though, Doc.
Like one of his best favorite artists ain't Yo Gotti.
It's not. I fuck with Yo Gotti, but he ain't one of my.
Or even Dolph. So do you fuck with Gotti or Dolph?
I fuck with Gotti over Dolph. Yes.
He fuck with 8 Ball and MJG though.
I fuck with 8 Ball and MJG.
And probably 3-6.
And 3-6 and Pat.
Exactly. So I ain't trying to hear that shit about
hold on.
Exactly, nigga.
Hold on. Gotti over Dolph though?
Yeah. Yeah, crazy.
That's not crazy to hear people. I don't agree with it, but it to me is just kind of like people who choose it's to me it's like Nas versus Jay-Z.
Gucci over Jeezy or Gucci
over Jeezy.
Yeah, something like that. It's like it's
Yo Gotti more so Jeezy, Dolph more so like Gucci.
There you go. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's a good example.
And I fuck with Jeezy over Gucci. Even though I
can listen to both.
Like, I can listen to more Jeezy.
Yeah,
but Dolph and Gotti really different. It just so happened they was beefing.
Lou, when was the last time you heard a Gucci mixtape? Like a really good
that I like?
Yeah, like did you like drop top?
Oh no, I don't fuck with none of the new shit. No.
You ain't like drop top walk? With
Metro killed that shit.
Hey, bro, that shit.
Metro killed
it. He ain't heard it in a while, Doc. He over here bullshitting, bro.
No, the problem with Gucci is
y'all might be
much, and niggas get oversaturated and be forgetting. Like Facts. He'll put another song out, niggas be like, all right. I think
it's his thing. This whole career.
Lou, I told y'all who he is. I don't know why y'all trying to make him like stuff.
Yeah. Missing out on good music again. These niggas missing out on good music. They missing out on good music.
We ain't here to save them, bro. We just we just here trying to give out information.
Nick, do that plug again. When it come out, Nick?
Yo, Glockavelli, you know what I'm saying? This Friday, May 2nd. You can watch that you can listen to that on your way to go see Thunderbolts.
Be on the street team.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, it's gonna be a show, I imagine. So we're gonna have to cut the talk short and jump into it. So let me pull up the docket here. Here we go. All right. This is the place where sports opinions collide. Dead in Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth B. Inch. Joining me on the show, we have Spike, Nick, Shelton, and FIFO.
What up, though?
What's happening?
We are here to discuss the draft, and we of course have some updated playoffs records to discuss. Some guys are on the brink. And yeah, I think Giannis just went home too.
Yep.
So it might be a wrap for the Knicks tonight. We'll know. Nick, I'm sure, will tell us. But yeah, man, we if you guys are just not watching this video, we actually did a first round recap or a first round reaction to all the picks. I would encourage you guys to go watch the moment when the Giants traded up to select the quarterback. I think that is probably the best, the highlight of the show.
I had time to sleep on that, kid. I had time to sleep. I've accepted it.
Hey, Shelton, what I tell you, you're gonna be sad and pissed off, and then you're gonna get his number one pick.
And he did it, Ken. It didn't even take that long.
Hey, listen.
Yep.
Who am I to go against the scout, Shelton?
Oh, that's a complete 180 now.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Anyway, you guys definitely go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, the like button. Please leave a comment and let everyone know that we are live. And we're gonna kick things off with our best performance of the week. Let's go.
Best performance of the week, man. My God, Shedeur, man.
Oh my God.
Yes. To handle this situation with so much grace, so much, like they were trying to call him the arrogant black guy and all of these different things. And this is the reason they passed on him. When the microphone was in front of his face and he had to respond to dropping all the way down there in the draft, he handled himself with so much grace, so much that nobody thought he was. I see this panel, I see the haters out there in the audience. Shedeur handled himself with grace throughout all of this. More so, I would say, than any other quarterback that has failed this far in the draft, especially when they expected to go first round. So the best performance of the week throughout all the scuttlebutt and all the things going on in the background and y'all trying to call him arrogant and all of these things, he didn't fold. He showed grace. He let you know he here to work, and I'm on the bandwagon.
What the fuck else was he gonna do, Spike?
He could have said "fuck y'all." Like he could have said "fuck y'all."
Oh, he couldn't say that after. That was the last thing he could say.
I'm about to say that's the last. I don't know why he would say that. You can't say "fuck you" to your employer.
He said it,
especially when you begging for a job. Come on,
oh my
bro.
god!
Spike, I'm a Shedeur guy,
grace, man.
but bro,
he handled this with grace.
The best performance though.
Yeah.
Out of all the playoff shit that we got going on,
they've been saying he was going first round or whatever it may be for 3, 4, 5 months now. All of a sudden, no scout or evaluator can get the positioning right, and he goes 5th round. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on, that Spike. You're done. Let's go ahead and just close that out. Let's just jump into this first topic because Spike's coming in hot. And yeah, we need to go ahead and jump into this. We'll get into the basketball later, but we have, this has been the talk of the time. We have to talk about it. Mm-hmm. So the 2025 NFL draft is officially over, and it was one of the most highly televised drafts in recent memory. This is largely due to the fact that Shedeur Sanders, who was projected to be a first-round pick, fell all the way to the 5th round and was selected by the Cleveland Browns, who had already drafted another quarterback in the 3rd round. Deion Sanders said that his son was going to be drafted in the top 5, and he was. Top 5th round is exactly where he went. So before I pitch this to you guys, just a quick note I want to share with you. Van Lathan on the Bill Simmons Podcast shared a quote from a reputable NFL source who says Sanders has never been graded that high by NFL scouts. He was a creation of the media, but mostly a creation of the machine built in Boulder, Colorado. Then you have to ask yourself as an organization, do you want to deal with this father criticizing your staff every week from his Colorado University press conferences? If he were your backup or your starter had a bad week, would you want to respond to what's being said 1,000 miles away? It's a lot of baggage surrounding an average player. Was this draft slide more about Shedeur's personality off the field or his talent on the field?
It was about those interviews. And it was about Deion and Shedeur's plan to attack this draft like this was Deion 2.0. And Shedeur is nice. I definitely felt he was by far the second best quarterback in this draft class. We've talked about Shedeur now for 2 years, really 3, 2 years in Colorado and 1 year at Jackson State. And he's proven himself to be a more than competent quarterback. He has the traits that we want out of a winning quarterback that I feel that'll translate to the NFL. The thing is that they grossly misread their leverage in this whole thing. They thought that, Deion and Shedeur thought that they was walking in there like the next greatest thing is sliced bread, and it just wasn't that. You know what I'm saying? Deion has been on record of saying, hey, I know behind the curtains and there's certain teams we don't want to play for. That shot was one of those shots was to the Browns that eventually drafted him. So I think that is really what happened. It wasn't necessarily the play on the field. Teams are going to grade players wherever they want to grade them. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't a lot of teams this year that needed a quarterback because a lot of good quarterbacks came out last year. All that being said, I think it came down to the interviews and them really trying to control where they landed, and it just kind of backfired on them. And this was a humbling moment.
When you say it wasn't the play on the field, do you mean that's the reason that he slid, or that's the reason no one took him?
No, I'm saying the play on the field is not the reason why he slid at all.
Okay.
The tape is the tape. The tape is the tape. It's how he came off to certain people. Now, I don't know if y'all saw this report when he met with the Giants with Brian Daboll, and he had an installation, right? Like that means you have your base playbook, but now we have some plays that we are adding to attack a certain defense. And when Shedeur wasn't answering or not giving them what they were looking for, and Daboll called him out, he felt a certain type of way. So obviously he didn't respond in the way that you want a quarterback to respond in that moment. Also, they said that he came in there with headphones and an entourage. Again, those aren't necessarily things that you do when you are interviewing for a multi-million-dollar job. Now, you can have all of the confidence that you want in the world. You could be legendary. You could be all of that. But when it's a one-on-one with you and the potential team that you are interviewing for, let's get it right. It's an interview. We've all 5 of us here have been on an interview. I'm not bringing my headphones around my neck. I'm not doing my interview with an AirPod in my ear. I'm not bringing the entourage waiting outside for me. Like those are just things that you should not do. And that is the corporate side. That is the business side of the NFL. You know what I'm saying? And he just didn't come off right to a lot of teams.
Well, that's the word, FIFO. And here's what I say to that. I don't know that to be true. I hear people saying that, but you yourself, you've interviewed for jobs that I'm sure you haven't gotten. And I'm sure they probably said some things about you that wasn't true in the interview because they didn't want you to have the job. So 100%. Of course they're going to put out things and narratives that they want to put out to kind of spin it their way. We know we black men, so we know about that. We know about getting stuff spit a certain way. I can tell you from personal experience that one time somebody found out what I had in my, like, some of the things that I have outside was a little different than what they had outside, and their perception of me changed. At that point, I was a little cocky. I was the same person, but at that point, I was a little arrogant because they didn't like what I had that they didn't have. Also, if you got a coach like Shedeur Sanders, who is your father, and he's threatening your job, which a lot of people said before this draft, it was words going around that Jerry Jones is going to fire the coach and hire Deion and bring in his son. We even said it on here, like in a way that we kind of put it out there. So of course we're gonna say some things about him and his son coming into this situation. We don't know that to be true. None of us know that to be true because we wasn't sitting in those interviews. And I saw him say that wasn't true. And I'm not gonna say it ain't true because I wasn't there. So I'm not gonna say it is, and I'm not gonna say it ain't. But I guarantee you this: it's more about his father than it is about anything else. And you can't convince me of nothing else. It's to prove a point that Deion, you don't run this. Y'all don't run this situation. We do. Just like the kneeling and all the other stuff. They had to prove their point. We're gonna keep y'all in line and y'all gonna do it my way. So that's just the way I see it.
You don't think that I'm just taking what is out there as fact. Deion literally saying that there are places that he's gonna control this thing like Arch Manning. That's number one. Number two, he was saying that he knows things behind closed doors, and there's certain places he don't want Shedeur to play. Shedeur came out during the combine week talking about, hey, I done changed programs, I done did this, I done did that. That comes off as I'm cool with it because what Shedeur is saying has a lot of fact to it. Who the hell was Jackson State? They went and won that conference while he was there with Travis Hunter.
Undefeated.
They went to Colorado. They were undefeated, Spike?
Yep, undefeated.
Yeah. Undefeated. They went to Colorado. The first year they turned it around. We're talking about a program that won 1 game. You know what I'm saying? Nobody here thought that they were going to be out here winning national championships 1 year in. We saw how atrocious that O-line was. Shedeur still played his ass off, came back with a slightly better O-line, still no run game, and they were even better year 2, right? And we know that in programs, our guy that just coached at Michigan, he's with the Chargers now. I'm bad with names.
Oh, John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh.
Yeah. Oh,
Jim Harbaugh. It took him 3 years to get his guys in there. And we're talking about Michigan. So at the end of the day, I understand the confidence and the bravado that Shedeur talks with. But at the same time, I can see him going in there talking to certain teams like, nah, man, y'all need me more than I need you. I can see that.
I can't see that part,
come
FIFO.
on, man.
He ain't that crazy.
Come on, man.
I'm sure his daddy prepared him better than that. What I see, like I said, I see him saying,
you talking about the same guy that said,
if you want to make a difference
at 7, you're not gonna be able to get me. You talking about that guy?
What about that? That's nothing.
Okay.
That to me, that's not nothing. To me, that you not saying like y'all ain't nothing to me. That's not that's different. Me saying if you want to win, you're gonna pick me. That's the same thing Cam Ward said, which you should have said. And I agree. I think the same way. I want the same confidence. You saw Johnny Manziel with these character issues and saying certain things. It didn't stop his draft stock.
Hey,
some of these other players said the same stuff.
Baker
Mayfield said the same
Grabbing his
stuff. There
crotch.
was no.
Hey, we was all on here doing the draft. I do not agree with him sliding to the 5th. At the latest, he should have been a 3rd round pick. If he was going to slide at the latest, that's to me, that's what his talent, the tape spike that I was saying, it's not the tape. That's what the tape told me. That's what the tape told me. Minimum 3rd round pick.
So you don't think
I feel you. I'm just saying minimum.
Because we saw the completions leader in NCAA football with the line, and we all agreed. Yeah, and we all agreed that was the worst line in football. We also agreed that he have a running game. Now, do I think he's mature? Not all the way. I think he does need some development as far as maturity level goes. I'm not saying this guy's like that guy yet. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is we're not going to make this about football and that's what some people try to do. You've seen it spent 8 different ways. Oh, his talent level not there. Football. How are we going to bring up talent level now? Where was this this time? All of a sudden, now he can't play football?
Because
when did this change?
Dylan Gabriel's talent level is not higher. Jackson Dart's talent level is not higher.
They're trying
Maybe
to
he has physical stuff in terms of Jackson Dart, and even who's the guy from Alabama? You know I'm bad with names.
Jalen
Milroe. Like Milroe has a lot of upside because the nigga run like a 4.3 with a cannon arm.
He a monster. Yeah,
he a monster. So to me, Jackson Dart, I could talk myself into it, but not really. Milroe, I could talk myself into it because it's like, hey, we get him under the coach and we do this, we do that. We saw what Josh Allen became. All right, cool. I could talk myself into that one. The rest of them bums, hell no. Nah.
But to say I'm going to believe what the media is putting out now, all these different reports that are supposedly coming out, I ain't no fool. I'll sell you some land, some beachfront property in Alabama if you want me to. If you believe in all the stuff that come out, because y'all know good and well the media is going to spend this thing the way they want to spend it. But the bottom line is this.
I know I'm about to say
there is actually beachfront property in Alabama. It ain't that bad.
I didn't know that. But what I'm saying is we all know that they're going to control the narrative. And that's what they want to do. That's what the media does. That's what the NFL does. Because they sent some owner said we couldn't pick him. Absolutely. Because they got together and got on the phone and said, hey, we ain't picking that boy because he ain't running this. And that's exactly what happened to him. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. Y'all ain't running this. Just like they're going to put a cap on this NCAA, the NIL stuff. They're going to shut all that down too. They controlling it all. And if you believe it's about football, it's not. I'm sorry, Luke, go ahead.
No, to your point, I do think there were some owners that did collaborate and be like, no, we're not taking him. I think they did have that initiative to their GMs, the drafting point. It was like, nah, we're not taking dude regardless of what happens. And I do think that there were some teams that just didn't evaluate him because they didn't think that he would fall down this far. Like he was scouted throughout the season as if not a first round pick, at least about a 3rd round. So now I'm in the 4th or 5th round, and I'm an owner, and my GM called me and be like, hey, we thinking about taking Shedeur, and y'all ain't looked at him. Y'all ain't got no tape on him simply because you didn't think he was going to fall this far. I wouldn't approve of it either because I would be skeptical as an owner being like, no, nobody else is taking him, and they've been studying him and got tape on him. I'm not taking him either, and y'all ain't been paying attention to him. So I do think a lot of things played into factor as far as him falling down this low. It wasn't just, oh, he's arrogant, oh, he's cocky, oh, Deion is his dad, that they didn't draft him. There were a lot of other things not to do with football, like you said, Sheldon, that played into this. And a lot of it had to do with Deion and Shedeur's side not being prepared, and also other teams not being prepared for him not to fall this far because everybody kept telling us that he was going to be drafted in the top couple of rounds. And I want to know and trying to understand the people that evaluate football when they got this bad at it. Because we ain't never had a situation like this where somebody like Shedeur Sanders, who they telling me is the 2nd best quarterback, gets drafted in the 5th round. I ain't never seen it happen. So it's hard to be like, I've listened to Bo Money. I've listened to all these other people in the media say, well, it's a process thing. It ain't got nothing to do with race. But it's hard for me to believe that and see that, like, he fell to the 5th round, and it wasn't because of the football shit, like you said, Sheldon. It was because of other shit. So other shit played into it, racism or whatever it may be. But all of that played into it as far as how they view Shedeur.
And I would feel, one last thing, I'm sorry, and then y'all go. But I would just feel differently if he had, like, character issues or if we had some type of, oh, he got arrested for this, for, something like that. It'd be a little different, but you don't have that with him. Yep. You got a clean-cut guy. So you can't put it on that. All you putting it on, all you putting it on is that boy got out of line. That's what it is.
I agree.
Can you want to go or
Go ahead, brother.
I feel like there's truths to both sides. Lou, to your point about Bomani didn't say that this had nothing to do with race. He said it's just not one of the priorities when you're talking about this situation. Race always plays a factor in somehow, some way. But what I heard from Bomani that really stood out to me was that the number one thing that stood out to me was that Shedeur originally was going to go to Florida A&M, I think, or
Florida International, something like
that. A university that don't nobody know about in Florida. Right. That's all I know. And that was without his father at first, before his father took over Jackson State and brought him over there. He wasn't highly scouted coming out of high school, period, based off of where he was going to play. All season,
Florida Atlantic, right?
Florida Atlantic.
Florida
Okay.
Atlantic.
Mm-hmm. Either way, a bumfuck school in Florida. Sorry for those who are alumni of Florida Atlantic, but football ain't. Sheldon, I'm sorry, but football ain't.
Florida Atlantic.
But that was where what's college was there though, wasn't he?
Nah, don't do that shit.
Lane Kiffin. No, Lane Kiffin. I'm just talking about Lane Kiffin.
Go ahead, Nick.
All I'm saying is that if it wasn't for Deion, and Deion deserves his credit for this, for putting his legacy on the line for his legacy. You know what I'm saying? He coached his son in high school, coached his son in college, and set him up in the best way possible. Probably even almost would bring LeBron to shame for how he carried Bronny to the league as far as what he was trying to do for Shedeur. To me, this is mainly about talent. This is mainly about perception of talent and the reality of production. Most people outside of Deion did not see Shedeur as a first round grade, because also I'm referring a lot to the Bomani podcast because I think he broke it down beautifully. When the scouts would ask about Shedeur, he said they never got a legit answer. They never got real criticism. It seemed like people were scared to say anything about Deion, and we saw how Deion acted towards the press when you would criticize him. He wouldn't even let you in the room. So if you wanted access to one of the hottest tickets in college football, which we all agree Colorado University has been one of the hottest tickets in college football since Deion took over, you had to fall in line. With that being said, if you're not getting accurate scouting reports based off of not being able to even be in the room, and what we are going off of as far as fact is that he wasn't a highly scouted high school recruit, period. And on top of that, you look at the results of his college career. When we're talking, Sheldon, what do we always talk about here on the show more than anything? Wins and losses, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This man only won 13. This man only won 13 games in 2 seasons of legit college football.
Before I got there,
I'll let you talk. You let me talk. He only won 13 games in 2 years of college football. FIFO. What talent do you know outside of Trey Lance is going to get drafted first round based off of that criteria? Those 3 things that I mentioned right there. And then on top of that, you add in his personality, which, like most of y'all said, I don't necessarily disagree with confidence. But when we're talking about sports, the main reason why a lot of people love sports is that facts are king. What you do in the game, how you win the game, how you lose the game, all that takes into is factored into how we evaluate you as a player. He wasn't a Heisman finalist. He wasn't the best player on his own team.
He was top three for the final Heisman.
He was not top 3.
He was top.
He finished 3rd. He was behind. No, he was behind Genty. It was Hunter, Genty, Sanders.
I gotta look at that again. I don't think he was top 3. He may have been top.
I'm telling you, 5. He was.
Who else
would it have been?
No, he finished 8th in Heisman.
Because I was about to say, bro, if he was top 3,
Sheldon the same person that do like.
I had to Google. I had to Google that.
Because
I know it was 3rd because he'd have been there.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. If he was top 3, he would have been there, and I know he wasn't there. So he wasn't a top 3 candidate or top 5 candidate for a Heisman in a year where people said this is a bad quarterback draft. So if he was that good, he probably would have been in the Heisman. And then we saw, and then Shelton, what did Kyle talk to me about? What have y'all always told me about Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart when we talk about it? Was like when he plays real competition, what does he look like? Right?
Mm-hmm.
When we saw Shedeur for 2 seasons, Ken, remember that first year that they got to Colorado and everybody and they beat TCU and they beat a couple other teams, and TCU was coming off that national championship appearance and they were playing Oregon. That was the big game, right? I was in Atlanta still at that time. I went to one of them little lounges and bars. Lou, you might have been there with me or something. Or I know I was with one of the homies, and we was all excited, bro. The whole city came out. You know what I'm saying? The whole city was out to support him. I was there too. You know what I'm saying? What happened after that first half, Sheldon? Everybody packed up and went home. I was the only one in the lounge left. I was the only one. I was one of the few people that stayed in the lounge because I still wanted to see what he looks like against competition. When they played Nebraska, when they played Utah, when they played when they played in the bowl game against BYU in their own conference, what did he look like? So when we're talking about race in this, yes, it may have played a factor, and it probably did, but let's not act like this is against black quarterbacks, because 2 black quarterbacks got picked in the top 3 rounds. One was number 1 overall. And Shelton, you said he was talking shit just like Shedeur. He was talking. I'm not even going to go into that. Because if you want to look at the Cam Ward and Shedeur footage of them working out together and all that stuff, Shedeur was saying a bunch of shit that also probably hurt his draft stock too. And his perception to the league. My thing,
friends though. That's like
I let you talk. My thing is this: when you are that confident in your skill set, you have to back it up when we're talking about sports,
right?
Especially when you're trying to get picked and drafted. This is the most glorified job interview. And Shelton, did he help himself out in that job interview? FIFA, did he help himself job interview when he didn't even show up to the workouts, when he didn't show up to the Senior Bowl and all that stuff, when he was acting a fool in these interviews? Which, regardless if you
we
believe
don't know that, Nick.
Regardless if you believe it or not, most of what everybody is saying is that he acted a fool. And these are coming from black reporters too.
Where there's smoke,
look at Chris Broussard from First Things First reported that as well.
Oh yeah, that's a black reporter.
He
wasn't.
Now the Heisman
my thing is this. We are dancing around the fact of, and Ken, me and you, or at least I'm gonna speak for myself. I came here early. You know how I always am, Ken. When I say things early, they call me a hater. I was like, bro, I don't think he that good for y'all to do all this rah-rah shit. And it was proof on tape. It was proof in the workouts when he wouldn't work out with Cam Ward. He ain't that good. Now, that is not me.
You lost the bet to me because you said he would go top 10.
Nick, who looked better in college?
I lost the bet to you, Lou, because I believed he was a first-round pick, and I thought Cleveland was desperate enough that they needed a quarterback. That's why I made that bet.
But now, who looked better in college, Nick?
So I'm not. So this
Nick, who looked better in college?
Can I finish my point, bro?
Nah, you take a bell, nigga.
No, because I'm explaining. Shelton went about 3 times. Chill out. My thing is this. My point is, I said that even in the live draft, you can look at the tape. I was like, bro, he shouldn't have slid. I was shocked that he slid past Pittsburgh. We all were. I still thought he was a first-round grade. I said I would be shocked that he got at the top 10. I made that bet with you again because Cleveland, who ended up drafting him, needed a quarterback. And to me, he was the second or third best quarterback in the draft. I had my preference of Jalen Milroe, but I wanted him to go to the Giants because I'd like the coach. Again, I think that we are hyping this situation up and trying to make it more racial than it needs to be because we talked about this in the chat, Ken. What cause was he fighting for outside of himself? To make it seem like he's standing up for the people. He's standing up for the black man. He's standing up for Shedeur Sanders. Go ahead, Ken.
Y'all want to rebut any of that before I go?
Let Ken go.
The only part I want to rebut is the Heisman voting. He came in 8th, and that's pretty good because you got 2 players on the same team. Your marking is going to go behind one of those 2, and you're going to eat up votes. So go ahead. That's all.
Got it. Okay, so it wasn't good enough to be a top 5 Heisman person. Okay,
no,
cool.
No.
Got it. Nick, I was with you, bro. I think for all these years, we took 2 sort of different positions with this whole Colorado thing. But But when it comes to what he's able to do, yeah, I was with you in terms of Shedeur on the field. I did see things that were good, but it's like, what do you look like when you're playing against the competition? It was like that with Johnny Manziel. I can go down the list that I've said on this program before, and actually have said on this program before when we talked about Johnny Manziel. Just go check the tape. We got called haters, anti-black, all kind of names and shit like that. I think the thing is, Sanders' draft went just like that first season at Colorado. It started out hot and ended cold. The question that I really, really want people to answer, and it seems like the scouts have kind of tried to do it, but they tap dancing around it, is that maybe Shedeur just isn't that good. Maybe he isn't as good as Deion made all of us think that he is. When I was talking to my wife about this, when we had this conversation about it, I was like, oh shit, Shedeur ain't been drafted yet. And she was like, oh, what's going on? And like I told you guys in the chat, on Saturdays when they playing, and if Colorado playing, they around watching the game. And I'll be over there watching it with them. And Deion pulled this trick like he did and like he always does, is he sold everybody a bill of goods about his son. I told her that Deion artificially inflated his son's career since the moment he saw that guy coaching his son and didn't like how he was doing it. And he took this man and he took him to Jackson State and he built him up and went undefeated in the first year. I think he lost one game in the second year. He took him to a sorry-ass program in Colorado, got some guys there, built him up, and then did this whole display and tried to make it seem like this guy is a top 5 quarterback. His words, not mine, because he tweeted it, if that tweet is legit, and I believe it is. This is the things that he said. And the black community got fully invested and behind this guy. And then the facts of the matter come out, and now everybody's upset and want to cry about race. They want to say that it's because he's loud and cocky and it's about humbling and this, that, and the other, because for all of these years, we sat and watched this. And when they started losing, instead of calling Deion out, they made excuses for him and for the team. Instead of saying Shedeur ain't this and ain't that, oh, he ain't got an offensive line. Cam Ward, his own buddy, his friend, calling him out and saying that shit, you throwing screens. And when that was questioned, oh, he don't have an offensive line, they got to protect him. We talk about football on here. These guys get paid to evaluate this guy. And for years, people were afraid to tell the truth. And Deion thought that he had a guy that was a surefire thing. And the fact of the matter is he wasn't. Should he have gone to Pittsburgh in the 21st with the 21st pick? Yeah, I think so. Should he have gone in the second round? I think so. But damn, man, falling all the way to 5th, I got to start looking at that with a little bit differently. And I hear what people saying about his intangibles. And, the intangibles can make a thing. But and how Deion wanted to Shelton Spear here told us this was the plan and that this was Deion's whole plan. Well, he's a terrible planner because that shit damn sure didn't work out. And one thing when my wife brought up and my father-in-law brought up about the whole Manning thing, I said, well, Shedeur ain't a fucking Manning. He can't, he don't have the leverage to do that shit because his son probably ain't as good as a damn fucking Eli Manning when Eli was in college playing against better talent. Why can't we just accept that shit as fact? If Shedeur was that guy, legendary, as he said, and his talent superseded his talent should supersede his attitude. We've seen them criticize quarterback before. Josh Rosen, they called him privileged. They said that because his dad is rich and stuff, that he don't really care about football and that he's not serious about football. That was something that I heard about the Cam Ward Shedeur Sanders video. They said the same thing about Johnny Manziel, the whole Johnny football, this, that, and the other. That's why his ass slid all the way down and he got punished for it. Yeah, he went in the first round, but the Steelers just said, fuck it, we don't want to take him. And then, of course, this was a weak quarterback draft. The only one that really got drafted that at number one that managed to overcome all the questions about character was Baker Mayfield. That was it. Guys, he probably just ain't as good as we think he is, or we've been sold that he is.
So
why we have to tell us
just based off talent?
Ken, you brought up
one at a time.
Hold on, Spike. So just based off talent, with the quarterback room that he has in Cleveland, right? We know Joe Flacco is the preeminent bridge quarterback, a guy that has been there, done that, can show the young QBs in that room how to prepare, how to read the game plan, all of that type of stuff, right? So now we're talking about Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. Are you going to sit here on this program and say that Shedeur is not more talented than the other two white guys that's in that room?
I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the draft.
Ken said it right though. Ken said it right though. He said he's not Eli Manning. He ain't the right complexion. You're right. Ken.
No.
So he can't do the things that those other guys do. You're right about
he's Ken. We're talking about where he got drafted, and the place that he got drafted, and a player that was taken before him is Dillon Gabriel.
FIFO.
Are you going to sit here
FIFO.
and say Dillon Gabriel is a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders based off of your analysis?
Because what I said was I was surprised that Pittsburgh didn't pick him. I was surprised he didn't go in the second round. You know what I'm saying? So it's not. So I already acknowledged those things. What I now have to really sit back and evaluate and look at is why the hell did he not go there? Why the hell did he not get drafted?
So do you think it's
so? What you're saying? What he's saying is not making sense though.
Play?
Because if you saying you thought he was going to go there, but now you're saying his play is not there, why would you think he would go there? How
because Pittsburgh still is needed a quarterback, and they didn't draft him, and then the Browns did not draft him. So then now you have to look and see what people are saying about the reasons why he's not being drafted. And there's talking about he's not that mobile.
I don't want to hear they. I want to know Ken. I want to know. You keep saying they.
I'm using them because that's all I have. I'm not a fucking scout.
That's
I don't understand why is it so difficult.
That's why I was like, because to me, that's why we are a sports talk program, and I appreciate everyone who's tuning in, and I see the comments and all that stuff too. And I find it interesting is like we look at the games as fans who commentate on the games. We are not behind the scenes. We are not doing all this other stuff to get more information. Absolutely. That's why we rely on sources, secondary but highly credible sources, to give us our information, to give us context, which we all talk about. That's one of FIFO's favorite words, context, to these sports conversations. My thing is this is more about what the media had put out versus what is behind closed doors in these NFL offices and these draft rooms, which Kyle always says this. And again, the things that we talk about in the chat, it's funny that y'all are going against it because Kyle always says everybody lying.
Everybody
to this draft, everybody lying. And to me, this reminds me, this is very political in the way of when we, again, for however you feel about and whatever side you follow politically, when we were doing the whole election, everybody thought one way and the results was another way. And then people are acting like, what the fuck happened? How were they this wrong? Twice. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this is a similar thing as far as the media said a lot of things that we just fall in the line because these mock drafts, everybody looks at these mock drafts, everybody grades these mock drafts because they're coming from ESPN, Fox Sports, or whatever source you look at. But these are not the people that's working for these franchises.
When have
Nick, hold on.
But Nick, have those people ever been this wrong though? We've never seen this.
You're talking what's going on. You're saying ever been this wrong? Like they got the majority of these mock draft wrong. It's only one player that we're talking about that
absolutely
failed. Right? The rest
absolutely. But Nick, what you said, what you just said is absolutely true. You said the media lies. You said that, right? So why are we to believe what the media said on one side, but then on the other side they lied when they said he was good,
because
but now they tell the truth about the other stuff?
Only because I'm going off the results. The results are saying that the NFL offices didn't grade him as highly as the media does. That's the truth,
The
right?
results told us that Colin
it's
Kaepernick was out of football because he couldn't play, right? That's what
this
the
has
media
nothing
said, right?
to do with
That-
Colin
this-
Kaepernick.
It does.
Bro.
It has a lot to do with it.
It
It's
is
about
not
control.
even close
It's
to being
control.
attached to Colin Kaepernick.
It's control.
It has nothing to do
That's
with
my
Colin.
point.
It has nothing
Oh
to do
my
with
God!
Colin.
This
It has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with Colin Sheldon because Colin was speaking out for a cause that was
I'm not talking about that part of it.
If you want to bring up Colin, we got to talk about Colin Sheldon. You can't just have one. You can't drop his name and then try to back off. Colin was talking about something that had nothing to do. He was talking about something that had nothing to do with football. He was talking about stuff that was outside of football that brought negative attention to what the NFL office felt like was to the sport.
Right. I'm talking about the reason why he's not there. I'm not talking about what he's talking about. I'm talking about who kept him out.
Shedeur has not talked about anything politically, socially. Like you said, Sheldon, he's been a clean-cut guy. He hasn't said anything outside of his confidence and what he thinks of himself.
My point is this.
So that has nothing to do with that.
My point with that is this, just so y'all know, with the Cap thing. I ain't talking about Cap as far as Cap and what he stood for and the reason why he's not in the league. What I'm saying is the powers that be decided that this man, regardless of his talent, regardless of the fact he's just been to a Super Bowl, is not going to get back in our league. That's what they decided. And they decided the same thing this time, that this man is not going to control my league. And that's the same thing I'm talking about. That had nothing to do.
They decided it, and they decided with Lamar Jackson too. When he was holding out, and we were wondering why the Falcons wouldn't sign Lamar Jackson, and he couldn't get this highest paid contract that he wanted, the same thing happened. But y'all are trying to act like, and that's the most important thing I think about the situation. People are trying to act like, yeah, it was all these other factors. It was other factors that played into it, but we still have examples from Lamar Jackson, from Colin Kaepernick, that this is what's happening. And I don't understand how people.
Go ahead, Kevin. Well, I think that Shelton, you and maybe Spike, but I know Shelton, you talk about distractions all the time and how they can impact the team, right?
Yeah.
Once he didn't get picked in the second round, he becomes a distraction on the team because people are afraid of Deion Sanders and the fans talking about when is he going to get in the game and why isn't he playing. Shit, we saw it happen in fucking Atlanta and with Michael Penix when Kirk Cousins was shitting the bed.
You're right.
And then all of a sudden, and so then that's something that organizations, once the value diminished with him and you're not a starter in the third and fourth round, typically those first 4 rounds of guys that's supposed to be on your team, at that point, we needed somebody that's gonna be able to contribute to the team right away. And we can't have those outside distractions for a guy that we don't even have as a first round grade talent-wise, and that we may not even believe he may not be that good. So why do I even want to put up with that shit? So you guys are not believing any of the stuff that the talent scout evaluators are saying?
Why did it take so long for them to come out and say it? That's what I don't believe. Because
I gave you a reason why, Lou. You just not believing it. I told you that they wanted the media. The media wanted access. The media and the scouts want access to the Deion Sanders show. It's the hottest thing smoking, probably still going into this, especially probably going up to this next season, Ken, based on how this draft went. But Deion would not allow you in there if you wasn't getting with the program.
He kicked that one guy out. He kicked him out because he said
he kicked CBS out.
Yeah, he kicked that one guy.
He didn't say one guy.
The guy from CBS.
He did kick dude out, but Mel Kiper don't care nothing about that. And Mel Kiper was talking about, and it crashed out on ESPN about
and I agree. And I
like this dude been doing draft picks for 30 years. How is he that wrong?
He's not. You saying Mel Kiper hasn't been wrong before?
Yeah, Mel Kiper's
been saying that. I ain't saying he ain't been this wrong. He ain't been this wrong ever before.
Mel Kiper
has talking about somebody is the second best quarterback and they get drafted in the 5th round. That hasn't happened.
He put his career on Jimmy Clausen, and we saw what Jimmy Clausen.
That's what I'm saying.
He's been wrong, but he's been more right than he's been wrong. He's had way more hits than he's had misses. So it is what it is. And my thing is this, like especially for Nick and Ken, right? Forget what the scouts, forget what the media, just look at, again, Nick, to your point, you said that we on this program look through sports and just talk about it as fans, as we are, right? Based off of the comparison, the peers in this draft class, you're going to tell me that Jackson Dart, Tyler Show, Jalen Milroe, Dylan Gabriel all had better collegiate careers, number one, and number two, have more upside. There's 2 guys that I'll give you the upside on. Jackson Dart is an athlete. I'll give him that. Jalen Milroe, elite athlete. I'll give you that. So if you're drafting on potential, I'll give you drafting those 2 guys over Shedeur.
3 guys, because you got Cam Ward too. You got to include him in that.
And he's in a league of his own. He's on a whole nother pedestal in comparison to the quarterbacks in this draft class. Shedeur is not a peer to Cam Ward in this draft class. So the other guys that were drafted over him, in my opinion, based off of what I've seen and what the numbers say, Shedeur was better than all of them.
Nick, I just want to say, Mel Kiper said Jamarcus Russell, compare him to John Elway and say he will be an elite quarterback within 3 years. He also said Kajana Carter and compare him to Bo Jackson.
I like Kajana Carter.
Kajana was
my thing, FIFO, is you asked me this question, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like y'all don't listen to me a lot. I'm giving context where I feel like he failed. Do I agree that he failed do I agree that his fall to the 5th round was valid? No, I'm not saying that. I'm the one who betted with Lou that he would be a top 5 pick, a top 3 pick. None of y'all niggas did that. Even when we went through the draft and we were like, all right, these teams can take him, none of y'all said that y'all wanted him on y'all team. Even Lou said, we got Dak Prescott. Why would we draft Shedeur? Wow. My thing is, and we were all shocked. We all expected. Ken even wrote it in the thing as far as when we were doing the draft, as far as Shedeur's going to the Steelers. Because even Mike Tomlin came out and said Shedeur's a great talent. We would probably be good to have him and all that. So that's the reason why I'm saying all this is that we were, like Ken said, we were sold a bill of goods because all that shit that they said, Shelton, was a fucking lie. And what was the real was the fact that they did not grade him that highly.
But it's 2 things about that, Nick. Now I'm gonna say this to you and Ken, because you both said y'all thought he was gonna go high. So it sound like heads to me. If y'all felt like he was not talented enough, but y'all felt like he was gonna go high, that's the heads thing y'all like to talk about. Second thing is, Ken, you brought up Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen was a great example. He went where he was slotted to go, which was 10th. Also, he got about 8 or 9 different chances in the league, even after proving he was exactly what they said he was. So when you bring him up, you can't bring him up without saying Shedeur don't get the same grace, because he didn't have the same college career Shedeur had either. He didn't have that
hasn't
career.
Played in the league yet, Shelton. I don't
right.
know
So what I'm saying is he got dropped. It's a great comparison because he got dropped down to 5th round, which you said his talent wasn't there, but it was
I was talking about the criticism of it being privileged and people question about his love for the game. People have said the same criticism for Shedeur.
But they didn't drop. But he didn't drop. So when you brought him up, that was a great example. That shows you that there's a difference there, right?
No, I'm trying to illustrate that it's okay for black quarterbacks to be criticized for certain things the way that other quarterbacks have been criticized in the past. It is not necessarily always about race.
Yeah, he got penalized for it. Why did Josh get penalized?
Right. They're being more harshly criticized because Rosen still was
and he got penalized
in the first couple rounds.
He got picked 10th. And that's where he was.
And then what happened next year, Sheldon? What did the Cardinals do?
He got benched. But Nick, he was on the Falcons 2 years ago. How many shots did he got?
It matters because his own team didn't even believe in him. A year later, they drafted Kyler Murray.
But they saw Josh Rosen was out of the league. He was with the Falcons a couple years ago.
And Arizona needed a quarterback, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, they had him.
They drafted the quarterback because they needed a quarterback.
They drafted another quarterback, but my point is he still got
the year after Josh Rosen was there, but they drafted a quarterback.
He still got another shot.
The Raiders went in another direction. The Saints drafted I don't know who they picked. The only team that didn't pick him were the Steelers that needed a quarterback.
And
Right.
Shelton, my whole thing was all this past football season. I said I don't think Shedeur is that good, but I can see him going high because there's desperate teams. We went over the teams that are desperate for quarterbacks, and I said it was Cleveland. I said if he go past the Saints, that's egregious because the Saints, Derek Carr can't even throw a fucking football. They need a quarterback, and it was all based off of need.
You thought Milroe was better than Shedeur.
Tyler Shaw.
For me personally, I said Milroe was better. Look at the chat. I said Milroe's personally better than Shedeur, but I wouldn't draft him in the first round. I'll get him in the second. No. I've always said Shedeur was the first.
I would never take Milroe over Shedeur.
Yeah,
you wouldn't take Shedeur over Dak Prescott, so that says a lot about you anyway. So that's what I'm saying.
I would take Shedeur.
I would take Milroe over Shedeur because he's an elite athlete with all of the intangibles that you want.
No.
So again, the draft is about potential as much as it is current talent, and the potential of Jalen Milroe is bigger than Shedeur.
Yeah.
No,
I get you, but I'll say this. I've heard, even on this program and in the media, I've heard about 25 different reasons that they put out as to why he didn't get drafted. So when you talk about believing somebody, we don't know which one to believe because they didn't talk out both sides of their neck so often. Oh, well, it's his play. Oh, his attitude. Oh, he didn't work out. Oh, he didn't play in the Senior Bowl. Oh, he didn't do this. Oh, he didn't do that. I'm like, come on, man. Which one is true? Did he not do none of it?
All of it, Shelton.
Oh, all of it's true, King?
Why can't it be all of it?
You believe it? All of that.
I do believe the reports. Okay. I do believe their report. I do believe these reports. FIFO, what did you just say? Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
But all of these guys are lying.
No. But Ken, you can only believe half of what you read. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't believe it all. I don't believe it all. But again, to me, I'm taking the.
You don't believe any of it. Wait. Hold on. So I said
I didn't believe it all. I said I don't believe it all. But I do believe that there is a certain level of arrogance that the Sanders family has that I'm okay with because where I grew up, you know what I'm saying? The people that I associate myself with, I'm cool with that. But I can see how it could rub up some people the wrong way, especially in corporate environments. There's something that Acho said that I don't always agree with what Acho says, but he's very articulate, and I do agree with this. He didn't code switch, bro. The Sanders don't code switch. And that's why I said all five of us here have been on job interviews, and we have to code switch to a degree. My voice gets a lot lighter. I don't say the N-word. There's a lot of things that we don't do when there's something that we're trying to get, and I don't believe we did that.
FIFO, your dad's not a Hall of Fame NFL player where you got money to lean back on where it don't matter how the interview plays out. So
and his dad just signed a $50 million contract to be a head coach as well.
A lot of people are not taking into consideration like why Shedeur is looking at it like I don't have to do this. I don't have to do I ain't gotta go in here and do this shit that Brian Daboll asked me to do that he asked every other quarterback to do because I'm different. And they not looking at him that way.
I'm gonna answer this question. I'm not gonna say I don't believe none of it. I'm gonna say this. I don't know what to believe.
Oh,
I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe.
So Sheldon, can we just let's eliminate the media, let's eliminate the draft experts and whatnot. Let's just go off the facts that I said early and often. He wasn't highly scouted coming out of high school. We saw how he played against real competition in his own conference and in college football in general. And we know he's not athletic. And we know he wasn't the number one quarterback coming out of his draft class. And he wasn't, even if you think he's the number two quarterback, he doesn't have the most upside out of the rest of those, out of two other quarterbacks that FIFO mentioned in this draft class. And fourth, we know for a fact he didn't attend these the workouts and the Senior Bowl and all that stuff that most quarterbacks who are trying to get drafted high attend. So when you take all of that into account, and we also know for a fact that he doesn't code switch. When you take that all to account, is it not possible for you to believe that he would fall in the draft? Now, to say he fall to the fifth round is crazy. I get that. Right. But I'm just saying falling in the draft it makes sense when you look at all those things.
Hold on, Nick. There's one thing that I do want to correct you on. The top quarterbacks, if you go, previous drafts, they don't attend the Senior Bowl. They don't go to the combine. They don't throw. The top ones don't. It's the ones that are going to be drafted second, third, fourth round that are looking to make sure that they solidify themselves in the draft to be taken are the ones that participate in that. Caleb Williams ain't do none of that. He got taken number one. I could go through the list and through the list. The top prospects, Joe Burrow did it. The top prospects, they don't go through that, bro.
Okay, so FIFO,
that's all I'm correcting.
You're picking at one thing when I'm talking about a combination of those.
No,
five.
100.
So I'm talking about the bundle package. I'm not talking about the singularity thing.
Hey,
I'm saying
it came out of your mouth, and I'm just saying it's incorrect.
No, what's not incorrect is that it all happened to one player at one time. That's what the evaluation comes from. Looking at everything all at once. You're not taking one thing out and just saying that's the one thing. I'm saying the facts of what the evaluators have for Shedeur were all there. So that's why I'm asking, is it inconceivable to believe that he will fall when you're dealing with a player that has all that all at once?
What I'm saying, and the reason why I brought that out is to give you a little bit of credence in what you're saying, though, Nick. Shedeur, again, him and his dad over-leveraged they over-leveraged what they thought they had. They thought that they were a top 5 pick, right? Deion's been saying it. He's been selling that bill of goods. But the reality is you're not top 5. That's just what the reality was. And then they didn't execute the game plan because the game plan was flawed. The game plan was for a top 2 guy, which he clearly was not. And I never said that he was. You know what I'm saying?
None of y'all said that.
Okay.
I agree
at least some logic.
But the game plan to get drafted was flawed because they used the Deion Sanders template and not the Shedeur Sanders template. And the Shedeur Sanders template should have said, hey, we need to go to the Senior Bowl. Hey, you should throw at don't run the 40. Let's not overexpose ourselves. But let's show why. Did you see that throw that Tyler Shaw had in the combine? Put that boy to bed. Dylan get all of them everybody not named Cam Ward, put them boys to bed, and then let's go have our showcase in Colorado, and let's go get as high as we can go get. Which I think would have gotten him to 21. I think that if he would have taken those interviews seriously, and I'm not saying code switch, nigga, go in there with all of the jewelry on. Go in there being Shedeur Sanders, but take it as seriously as possible. If Dayball says, hey, this is the base, and then we have an installation of 15 plays, he needs to be on point with all that. That's the reality of the situation. And they misplayed their hand. And I think it's not the film, it's not the race, it's not none of that. It's how he came off thinking that he was the guy. And I'm just saying, based off of what I've seen on social media, that is the arrogance, which again, I am cool with. And I'm not saying you have to code switch, because somebody masked on or off in the chat was saying, well, Lamar doesn't code switch, but Lamar's professional. You can be a professional black person.
Really good.
He's great. He's great.
Yeah, he's great.
He's really good at his job. Yeah, so
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Multiple
and they wanted
time
to play
MVP,
wide receiver too, didn't he?
Humble. He said, no, I'm not switching positions.
Yeah.
And he let everybody know that. Again, all I'm saying is, and Ken, that's why I say I believe half of what I read. I don't necessarily believe it all. I read what I read. I see what I see. I put it together and I come with my own conclusion. My conclusion is that he could come off arrogant, but he needed to be crossing all of his crossing his T's and dotting his I's, and it feels like he did it, which to me is what caused the slide. It wasn't the play on the field, and again, it wasn't the racism. It was something that was controllable, but they ran the wrong play.
Yeah, you put that very well, FIFO. I got a question for the panel. I guess we can move on after that, Ken. Do y'all think he will be starting week 1?
No, absolutely not. There's really it's going to be really tough for him because you're the 5th quarterback on that team.
Yes.
Regardless, you don't get that many reps, and he's going to need reps. So he'll be 4th because you got
There's only 4 quarterbacks.
It's 5.
Well, yeah, Deshaun.
So Sheldon, let me ask you this: so if he's not starting week 1, do you think he will end up being the starter by the end of the season?
I don't even know if he's going to be on the team, Nick. And I'm saying that I'm not talking about his talent, Lou. This ain't got nothing to do with that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that he got to get reps, and if they don't
Nick,
want
how
him to
crazy
get the
does that
reps,
sound?
Lou,
how crazy does it
agree?
sound?
Lou, do you agree with that?
You act like he gonna get a fair shake, kid. Are you? Did you see? Did you see the GM? Did you see what the GM said?
Do you agree?
Did you see it?
That he won't be the starter by the end of the season.
So, and FIFO, you already know. Once again, we just talked about that. When management looks at you like, I don't really want this nigga, no way, they're not gonna give you a chance.
Bro,
so that's what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about talent. He can ball out, but that don't mean he gonna get a shot.
So week one, I don't know. I think at some point in the season he will. And my reasoning is this: we know Joe Flacco is the preeminent bridge quarterback in the league. He knows that system. We've seen him ball out in that system. But I think that they still lack the outside weaponry that it takes to compete, not only in the NFL, but in that division. Like I just don't see them putting up enough points. They're going to have some tough losses. And if you're not going to be playing for the playoffs and you have 2 number 1 picks in next year's draft, which yours should be relatively high, and Jacksonville, everybody knows Jacksonville.
We don't know.
Fuck that. They're not making a playoff. I don't believe they're going to make the playoffs. So we're talking potentially. Man, I don't think they are. But that's a whole other conversation. Hold on. I haven't answered the question yet. So you're talking about 2 high first round picks. You need to know if Shedeur is a guy that you can win with. So I believe that at some point in time he's going to be the starter, because you got to know. Because if he is your starter, and you have 2 high first round picks, then we say, hey, you know what? We could turn this thing around really quick. We could get him some weapons. We could get O-line, whatever it is that they need. But I do think at some point he will be the starter for the Browns.
FIFO, you still talking football when you're dealing with corporations, sir. These are corporations. This ain't about football.
Sheldon, why did they draft him? Why did they draft him? Who wanted
Shedeur?
Shedeur starting. Somebody in there
wanted
did.
Shedeur?
The GM didn't.
No, we
did
don't.
You see the GM's face when he got drafted?
Exactly. It wasn't the GM and it wasn't the coach. So who does that? Who exactly? And if the owner's gonna get what the owner wants,
but
and
you
if
can't.
he say,
but you let him play. If you let him play right away, you know how much of a fool you're gonna look like.
He didn't say right away. He didn't say right away.
That's what they're gonna try to do. They're gonna try to avoid that because you look real bad.
100%.
The only team that get away with that is the 49ers.
I don't think that he's gonna play right away. You have Joe Flacco, again, knows the system, been there, done that. The preeminent bridge quarterback. He's gonna play 4 to 6 games. If them boys go 500 or less, it's Shedeur time. That's just what it's gonna be. Because you gotta know.
You gotta know. Dylan Gabriel the first
my thing.
I'm with you, FIFO. He don't deserve it.
Dylan Gabriel.
I pray he do need FIFO, and I want him to, and I think he should and will. But I just don't think they're gonna let that happen. I think that'll make them look like fools, and they ain't gonna do that.
My thing is, why draft him if you think they're trying to blackball him like that? Why even draft it? Why didn't he just go undrafted if he was trying to send a message, Sheldon?
Because that would put him back in control of his own fate, and he could pick where he wanted to go. Because he could pick where he wanted to go, and because he holds all the cards.
How can he get picked where he want to go?
What do you mean? You know how many people watched the NFL draft? It was a record number of people watching the 2nd and 3rd rounds in the NFL draft because that man holds the cards. You put him where you want him to go. You control. You're still in control.
If he's undrafted, how is he picking where he wants to go?
Because he has the freedom and the right to negotiate with anybody. And you think some owner ain't sitting back saying, "Let me go and get."
He don't even have an agent. He doesn't even have an agent.
What do you need an agent? What do you need an agent for? For what? For what? What is it? What would an agent have made a difference in?
They would have told your ass you damn near about to be a 5th round pick. So you ain't even,
they would have been able to say that because they didn't know. Just like his dad.
Agents can go into because like when we found out
his dad was
Deion has no pulse on what goes on behind the NFL doors.
Clearly,
if he did, we would have got the information that Lou was talking about as far as like what's the real on Shedeur Sanders. Agents communicate with owners, GMs all the fucking time, bro. That's how they get their information.
If he had an agent, it wouldn't have been 5th round. If he had an agent, it would not have been a 5th round draft pick.
It would have been the same thing, Lou.
They made that decision. Would have been different,
bro. You really stuck on this race thing, bro. This is crazy.
It ain't race, Ken. I ain't even talking race. I'm talking control.
What are you talking about this?
I'm talking the league controlling Deion. I ain't even talking race.
Then why the fuck you bring up Colin Kaepernick?
Because I just told you it's about control.
But
It ain't got
Shelton,
I didn't say race.
okay,
I said
so-
control.
So Shelton, I'm agreeing with you on control. And if he would have had an agent, they would have controlled the situation better, had a better roadmap to not get drafted in the 5th round.
I'm done with y'all. Let's move on.
Still been controlled. His dad would have still
I'm done with
controlled
y'all. In the chat, they talked about race. In the chat, I saw race this, race that. Now it's not about race.
I saw in the chat they said we got black men going against black men.
Bro, it's crazy.
we gotta talk about sports, Sheldon. How many black people in sports?
They're afraid of a confident black man talking.
Lou a few weeks ago told me that Tyreek Hill can't be on commercials because he can't even get pulled over by the cops.
I stand by it. And I stand by it.
Jesus Christ. All right, no commercial, man. Well, let's just jump to oh my God. I knew that was gonna go pretty long-winded. So we're just gonna jump to the basketball because my goodness. Wait, let me make sure I got the outline correct. Now we're gonna jump to on watch. We're gonna jump to on watch, and I'm up. See you, Rob. I'm up next. And we're about to talk about the team that I got on watch. The whole thing that I got on watch is the Cleveland Browns. I actually got on watch because I don't know what the hell they're thinking. That's why I didn't comment on what you guys were saying, because this is a situation that I am extremely curious about. Because, Nick, they needed a quarterback so badly, they drafted 2. That's how bad they drafted 2. And I truly don't know if they believe in Sanders like that. What I suspect happened, though, is that they didn't want to take the chance on being wrong. And I think this was a move they made to cover their ass just in case he is those intangibles and everything else that they talk about, and that he's able to play within the confines of a system, and he got protection and this, that, and other, where he can utilize his skill sets, the things that he's really good at. I think that they didn't want to take the chance on somebody else getting him and then them not getting him and then them looking like fools. So they'll rather look like fools on this side of the thing than not. So, and then on top of that, Shedeur, looking at him is, to piggyback a little bit about what you were saying, Shelton, is we were all clamoring for him to get picked by the Browns, but the Browns is one of the worst fucking franchises in history. So why the hell would we want a guy that everybody, the black community as a collective, are really wanting to see win, go to an organization that's freaking terrible, that won't give him a chance to succeed or win? And what would that do? That would have all of the haters finally coming out and saying this guy can't play this, that, or the other. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. And that's why he was kind of trying to do the plan, Shelton, but he didn't realize that he wasn't a fucking Manning and that his son didn't have the skill set to dictate where you want to go. Yep. So nevertheless, I think the Browns are a mess. They have 5 quarterbacks.
Which
5.
means you have none.
5. And do I think the guy from Oregon is better than Sanders? I think they might be the same guy. They may be the same guy in terms of evaluation. I don't know. But you know what? You know where we're gonna find out, Nick? We're gonna find out in training camp, and we're gonna find out when they get on the field. So all of our talk and everything that we've been saying, all of that shit about to go out the fucking window. Because they're going to have to go on the fucking field and they're going to have to prove this shit. Sanders going to have to get on there and prove it and show all of us that we either right or fucking wrong.
I saw James Jones say that training camp was set up. His first year in training camp, he went out there and balled out. And the next year they brought in Jordy Nelson and they put him in the X slot where he was and had the plays ran and designed to where he balled out in camp. So they kind of control camp is what he said about his situation. And I'm sure that that's done a lot of different places. So, but I digress.
But if he get cut, to your point, Shelton, he can go somewhere else, right?
Yeah. But the point of it is he got picked by Cleveland. To me, that's another shot at Dion too, because
he didn't want to go to Cleveland.
He said, I don't want to go to Cleveland.
So Ken, the only thing I want to watch is the Cleveland Browns Hard Knocks. Go ahead.
Oh
let's
man,
make
I want that
happen.
FIFO.
They were
Go ahead and
already
make
on
it
Hard
happen.
Knocks this past fall. I don't know if they'll make them this year.
And I saw the video, Shelton. That GM was like,
You seen it?
he
He
really,
really,
but he's saying the right things in the press. But it's just like, I'm telling you, man, they were like, all right, man, he here. Fuck it, we're gonna take him. That way, if he is good, at least people can't clown us for it.
he looked like he looked like, man, and it was no hiding his emotion.
Yeah,
they
what
asked
a
him about
fucking
it too,
show, bro.
Yeah, they asked him about it, and he was trying to answer, but the other guy cut him off and stopped him. He was like, no, it's the timing of it. It's not the same time, and he tried to respond like that, but we was watching it.
Bullshit.
So, yeah.
Yeah, fifth round. That's tough, man.
I think I'll be shocked if he's not starting by the end of the season.
I'm with y'all. I think if he's that guy, he's going to be playing.
He has to.
If he's the guy,
it's just too tough, man. It's
not make excuses for him. If he's the guy,
I'm just saying. You know, and they said even the third string quarterback get 4 throws.
I agree. I do agree with Nick and Ken on that. It's not too tough. If he's that guy by the end of the season, he should be in the game. Like that's just flat.
Because if it's, they'll see it. They'll see it.
You can't deny time. You can't deny time.
You can't deny.
Russell Wilson did it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they just signed in Seattle. They had just signed their quarterback. You know, I'm bad with names.
Matt Flynn.
Flynn from the Patriots. You know what I'm saying?
No, he was with the Packers. He balled out with the Packers.
Oh yeah, with the Packers.
Contract
He balled out with the Packers. Got a big contract. I think it was 3 or 4 year deal. And they drafted Russell Wilson. They beat him out in camp. And he was a day one starter. So I don't think Shedeur is going to be the day one starter, but I do think that he has to take this whole being drafted in the 5th round and being like, let me cross my T's and dot my I's. Let me make sure I know the playbook inside and out as a quarterback should. And let me go out there and show what I can do. I think he is more talented than Dylan. I think Kenny Pickett shouldn't even be in the league no more. And Joe Flacco's a bridge.
Last thing, Nick, and then we got to go through these 3 other topics pretty quickly. What you got, Nick? What are you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, and we all know, based off what FIFO said in the draft, bro, it don't matter where you drafted as long as you drafted.
Yeah.
Tom Brady was a 6th round pick.
Hey, Nick, that's what everybody go through that's their card, bro.
Yeah.
Was it about race there too, Sheldon?
No. Because he couldn't run. He couldn't run.
I think the other one is the Seattle DB, the loudmouth, Richard Sherman.
Yeah,
5th round.
He was like a 5th round pick. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, the Denver Nuggets. Speaking of 5th rounds, they're about to play their 5th game. Soon. We have the Nuggets escaping on Saturday with the literal buzzer beater, winning game 4 101-99 to tie the series with the Clippers at 2-2. Does this win give you more confidence in the Nuggets to win this series? And are the Clippers giving these games away with their late game fumble?
This gives as far as give me confidence on them to win the series, it kind of does. And the only reason it does is because they've been here before and they've done it before. These are the most evenly matched teams that we gonna get in period. I think they ended the season both at 50-32, and this series has been neck and neck. Now I will say the Clippers are playing just a hair better regardless, even though the series is tied. But I still just got faith down the stretch that the Denver Nuggets are gonna put it together and pull this thing out. They have the more talent overall, I'll say, in my opinion, because you don't think so, FIFO?
The Knicks just hit a big 3.
Oh, okay.
Big 3. Yeah, and I'm watching the game.
But they have more talent overall, and I think that's gonna and the shooting is there. So I think that's gonna prevail in the end. I think that that'll give Denver the edge. Plus, you got the MVP. So that's the side you gotta lean to. But once again, this is the most 50-50 series of all. Everything else has not, even if it's been 60-40 in some of the others, this one is 50-50. It's straight down the middle. So, but I do think, in my opinion, Denver is going to pull this series out.
FIFA, don't say nothing else about the game. Your TV faster than mine, nigga. So I'm like, damn Shedeur. I'm talking about these the real starters.
So Ken, does this give me more credence to the Denver Nuggets pulling it out? Look, I think this series in particular has been everything that I said that it was gonna be. Like, I thought it was gonna be close. Kawhi is balling a little bit better than I thought he would. Like, he's definitely going to that MVP, finals MVP level that we've seen him at. And he's talked about not playing with pain right now. And they do feel like they are clicking on more cylinders right now than the Denver Nuggets. But Denver has that championship moxie throughout. And I do agree that the Clippers are fumbling the bag. But again, when you have James Harden, when you have some of these guys that's on that roster, it's to be expected. It's to be expected, man. James Harden is one of the greatest choke artists, you know what I'm saying? NBA history. In NBA history. You know what I'm saying? So to me, no, I'm not surprised that they're fumbling the bag at the end of these games. And I still got Denver.
I think Denver is lucky. The Clippers definitely gave them 2 wins. But I'm seeing Joker play great, and then I'm seeing Joker choke. In a situation. He had a hell of a shot, but he missed a free throw and he missed another. So, but right now he's damn near unstoppable. And that damn shot he hit to give them the lead was crazy with all those spin moves. And it's just fascinating watching him play and watching and Kawhi, seeing these guys battle back and forth, bro. Like they're going at it. The issue, as Shaq says, as Shelton talks about around this time, are the others. And Christian Brown stepped up, Gordon stepped up, MPJ stepped up, and they managed to build enough of a cushion to somebody win that game. But a 30-9 run is insane. Never should have happened, but it nevertheless it did. And just even in game 4, Kawhi missed the 3 that could have put him up. Harden missed the shot that could have given him the lead, and Zubac hit the tip in. And it was a really good, riveting game. But what I'm seeing is playoff Harden come around. Because ever since game 1, bro, slowly but surely, he's rounding into that playoff form that we know. Now, he had a pretty decent and pretty good fourth quarter, but yeah, man, he's been disappearing. And Aaron Gordon is giving them, well, in the first half, he was giving them problems in the posting up Kawhi. Who was the other guy he was posting up that got in foul trouble? So he was giving them fits. So they have a matchup that they can take advantage of there. But I think this is going to come down to coaching. And so far, the rookie is holding on tight. But what I will say is, Shelton, I'm going to say this, Shelton. Joker is over these niggas, bro. He is over this. He is so frustrated with this team. This is the most visibly frustrated I've ever seen him play. He is just so fucking annoyed.
Have you seen that? Did you see that he's actually the one that's doing all the coaching in the subs? Are you seeing him subbing in out players?
Yeah, I saw that one that you guys put in the chat, and I saw it in the game. But bro, that was crazy. Like, it was one defensive rotation that was missed, and it was something else. I mean, he just like this, and he just shaking his head. He is done. He is over it, bro. And he won a title with these dudes. He's just over it, bro.
Yeah.
Adelman might be over his skis.
Yeah. I put this in the chat. I think the Clippers should have won in a sweep. They have fumbled the game 1 FIFO. They had that in the bag. They fumbled it. This last game, like, how do you even Damn, my bad. I'm looking at the Knicks.
Mike, what you think?
It's hard. I'm sorry.
You couldn't even get it out.
I ain't gonna brother. This
He looking at the L the Knicks just took.
You're
we're still up in the series.
Yeah,
but no, I'm just saying,
yeah.
like, to me, like the Clippers are the better team. If you look at all these games, you can easily see like the Clippers are the better team. It's just that who would have thought that one box out would be the difference maker in game 4 and also in game 1 when they had the lead, that had everything in the bag, and they just gave it up. It's like the other 2 games they won handedly. You know what I'm saying? They were clearly the better team. And now we're going back to Denver, I believe, for game 5. And this is the series. Most series are won in game 5 when it comes to like if they're both even by that point. So I just think that the Clippers have to get this win. They have to get this win.
Yeah, and I think when you give away losses like that, because you just never really know what what each game is going to be.
Right.
Because each one is its own identity. So
trust me, I know the Knicks just gave one away.
So when that happens, man, it's just like you have to win them when you can. And we're about to talk about another team.
I can't. I know, we got.
But yeah,
this one.
But I will say that Joker is playing. His numbers are saying he's playing Hall of Fame worthy, and I'm not disagreeing with that. But the late game situations, him missing free throws and him not, you know what I'm saying, just not really being as clutch as I'm used to seeing him, that is surprising to me because that means that he has to rely on his teammates more. Now, Aaron Gordon obviously helped him out in the last game, but if you look at these late games, these missed free throws, like shit, I'm looking at the Knicks, you know what I'm saying? They fucked up at the free throw line too, especially with Brunson early in this game. So it's like those points always come back.
It's not about relying on your teammates because you always got to rely on your teammates. But the best players turn it up in the clutch because they don't have to drag them through the first 3 quarters.
He hasn't been doing that.
No, but he's been dragging them early in the game.
Yeah,
he's been dragging them early in the game. So when it comes late in the game, he don't got the same type of juice.
But it's free throws. Bro. I'm not trying to make excuses for that because we didn't make excuses for LeBron. No. Free throws. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do that.
He's not having to tonight. Aaron Gordon. Well, it just started, but Aaron Gordon got 7. Jamal Murray got 7, and he's the only one I think on the floor that has.
We seen him be up by 30 something. You know, in the last
I was gonna say, but that should help. What you just said though, the fact that he should have a lot more energy at the end of the night to do what he need to do. That's all I was saying. That the others are stepping up.
Tonight, but Jamal Murray has been absent ever since the injury.
Yeah,
and I called it out in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got benched for RJ Barrett in the on your Canadian team, bro. Like Jamal Murray has been on a steady decline ever since his last injury. And all I'm saying is that for this Denver team to be a title contender, they need the others. They got their main guy. We know Joker is otherworldly, but dog, like I always say, the second best player on a championship level team got to show up minimum of 5 games in a 7-game series because we know that the main guy is going to show up 6 or 7 games. Joker's going to show up 6 or 7 games. Jamal got to be here 4 to 5 games, and he hasn't yet. We haven't had that Jamal Murray game. Hopefully, this is that game.
Yeah,
but we need a Jamal Murray game.
Yeah, we haven't, and we'll go to. We need to talk next, but what I will say is that I think the Clippers may start having a Chris Dunn problem too, because they just leaving him, bro. They are leaving him wide open, bro. He's been missing. He hit like one shot last game, didn't he?
Yeah, that's Chris, the Dunham man. You know what I'm saying?
He remember who he was.
They ain't done it. That's what he ain't getting it done. That's what
he got to tonight. He gonna be clutch tonight.
Nick, I got a question for you though. How much of this is on Ty Lue? Them losing these games down the stretch.
There is responsibility for Ty Lue. I'm not gonna lie about that. But Game 5 is gonna show me how he bounced back from that Game 4 because Game 4 was an ugly loss. That I don't know how much that's on Ty Lue, but to me, the way you grade a coach is after a bad loss. What do they do next game?
Yeah, I don't think Game 4 was on him. I mean, they were down 20 and came all the way back to tie it. That was a hell of a run.
But down 20, and I mean, it's kind of like I can't give you credit for coming back when you were down. You know what I'm saying? It's like hard to do that.
They just got cold. But I feel you. But anyway, yeah, let's go to we need to talk. Looks like Nick, you are up about that one. Up for that. So it's on you, bro.
We need to talk.
In a second.
We're gonna stay in the AFC North, Ken. Because the Pittsburgh Steelers, bro. Hey Lou, in the draft, we all agree, Shelton. We all said they need a quarterback.
They got one. Keep going. I'm sorry, bro.
and the best quarterback in this draft, FIFA, was already taken. He was first overall. So to many, kid, for what we found out, America thought America's quarterback was going to be rightfully so at 21 in the best situation that most people would have said, like, even if he dropped, him going to this franchise is probably the best situation for him.
Right.
Yeah, they said we'd rather go, hey, let's run it back on defense. So, and on top of that, Lou, they not only looped around the Shedeur not once, not twice, not thrice. They said he wasn't even on board.
Stop laughing, man.
After Lou, I told y'all Mike Tomlin was on the damn press conference, said we would welcome Shedeur. Apparently, maybe to his house. He talking about when he can come over, when he can watch the game. He can't be in it
when he get cut.
So, but my thing is to make insult to injuries more. They chose Will Howard from Ohio State. Will Howard from Ohio State, the quarterback that we said, bruh, he is getting saved by his roster at Ohio State. He ain't no
Aaron Rodgers. That's because Aaron Rodgers is a bitch, though.
How?
They ain't want to draft Shedeur Sanders and have Aaron Rodgers, who they think is going to come play quarterback for them.
That doesn't make
to do it on the bench.
That doesn't make sense, Lou, because Aaron Rodgers said, "Don't wait for me. Do what y'all want to do. Don't wait for me."
but they waiting for him though.
But he told them not to wait. To me, it's like, bro, you can't.
But they are though.
You can't get mad at the girl that says she don't want you and say that, oh, but I'm gonna wait for you until you want me. She already said she don't want you.
She already told
you. So you waiting so you waiting for her for no reason. And there's another girl who says, I want you. Why don't you take me? I'm here. I even submit to your low standards.
I don't know if you heard though. I don't know if you heard. That's what the Steelers are saying. Not taking Shedeur Sanders and going with, Aaron Rodgers might be my quarterback going into the season. They follow.
Man, get that simp ass shit out of here.
Yeah,
bro.
thank you, dog.
If it was any other nigga, you would say the same. And this nigga corny. This nigga a cornball for waiting for it. You know it. So stop it, bro. Stop it. Don't do this like you better than this.
No,
wrong. You better, bro.
I'm trying to say if you hop on here, y'all are wrong.
So that's why I'm saying we need to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers going into this season because they have a streak. They have a winning streak, Lou. They also got a losing streak as well. And to me, Will Howard would not break that, especially because of this division. Because you could argue that Will Howard is the worst quarterback that will potentially start for the Steelers.
Fuck about Will Howard, bro.
Exactly.
We know.
I agree with you. No, they do give a fuck about it because they picked him over Shedeur.
They don't.
So my thing is
because they think they're gonna get Aaron Rodgers.
No, they didn't pick him over Shedeur. They picked him because Shedeur was gone. He was the only one left.
So my thing, well, no, they picked him over Shedeur because they could have got Shedeur in the 3rd, 4th round. And
I think they
were going to get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Either way,
your point, Nick, because I want to follow up behind you.
Either way, we're going to. I already know I'm heavily monitoring the Pittsburgh Steelers this season because, like I said, Sheldon, you could plug it in. What 9-8, 10-7?
Yeah, because you hate Mike Tomlin because you look like that.
But they gonna get him out of there if they got Mason Rudolph.
Will
Howard, even Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers ain't make the playoffs since when, Lou?
No. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
So
Will Howard is the Timu Mason Rudolph. So it's the same thing.
I have no idea. Like when they didn't pick him in the 4th round, I still haven't talked to, and I meant to talk to him to figure out what the hell's going on, bro. But you can take a flyer on Shedeur in the 4th round, and maybe they thought that he was going to fall to them in the 5th round because who saw Cleveland drafted 2 quarterbacks but Cleveland, because that's how stupid and idiotic they are. So maybe they thought if he fell, they would have drafted him in the 5th round, and when he was gone, they decided, oh well, we just might as well get Will Howard. But yeah, I don't know what they were doing, and waiting on Aaron Rodgers is crazy to me because they're stuck in this middle of the road sort of thing where they always going to be picking 20th, and most of the good quarterbacks are up there. So yeah, I don't know. I think it was a mistake, but
I feel like
out.
their owner was one of the owners that said, "Don't draft Shedeur."
Yeah, we know.
So if their owner is one of the owners that like don't draft Shedeur, that's why they in the position that they in.
Waiting on Aaron Rodgers is insane, bro.
Bro, the Steelers are Mr. We help out niggas. They got the black coach that they stand by, regardless of his playoff record. They got
don't let him get that off, Ken.
No,
remember Spike Tomlin brought Vic over there, bro.
He hating on Mike Tomlin though.
I'm not brought Vic over, bro.
I'm saying the Steelers have a reputation of being we support black men. They got the Rooney Rule. The Rooney Rule is only because of Pittsburgh. They got Mike Tomlin as a coach. He brought Vic in. Like what else? They brought Justin. They did Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. They've had more black quarterbacks than the Giants.
Hey, Spike,
now that's anybody.
Spike, you know what's even worse about them, and you using this excuse of them waiting for Aaron Rodgers? Ain't like that nigga gonna be there more than a year. 2 tops. Instead of you getting your future. I don't give a fuck about what he thinking about. Like, I think why you're right. So how you gonna agree with that? So like to Nick's logic, it's like you waiting on this chick. Now, not any chick, she old ass dust. And you gonna wait for her. She been in the streets. She been doing the fuck she want to do. And she telling you not to wait for her, but you gonna sit there and wait for her when you got someone right here willing to be your wife that's your age. They're bad as fuck.
That's the amount. That's the amount of hate. That's the amount of hate that they have for Shedeur Sanders.
All right, bro.
That makes no sense.
I'm gonna take this old ass, nobody ass, won 4 games with the Jets ass white quarterback versus Shedeur Sanders. He should 1,000,000% be their quarterback going into next season.
I'm not letting you get that. They got like they ain't have 2 black quarterbacks compete last year.
Come on, bro.
Come on, bro. It's 2 black quarterbacks last year.
They
wanted Justin Fields. They just ain't give him enough money.
The Steelers should 1,000,000% be having Shedeur Sanders as their number 1 quarterback going into the next season. Ain't no doubt about that. Yeah. That should be that quarterback.
All I know is that I'm not anticipating this, but I would not be shocked if the Steelers have a losing season this year.
Every time I say it, nigga, it doesn't happen. I've said it twice. I don't know yet.
Every year, bro.
Look, they've been in some dire situations.
I'm saying this the most dire that I've seen them though, Sheldon. Like
I don't know, because you remember the couple years ago when Mason got hit with the helmet. That was bad.
Yeah, I buried him so many times, bro.
No, my thing is that I have less faith in the quarterback room of Pittsburgh than I do of Cleveland.
But they have more talent.
Because I believe Shedeur should and will win the job before the end of the season in Cleveland. And I think they may have they may not a better record, but they will be in a better position moving forward than Pittsburgh.
But no, Nick, if you think about Pittsburgh though, and take quarterback out of the situation, everywhere else, Pittsburgh got some players now. You got
they old those. I'm saying they old those. And them players been there for a minute. What have they won?
I ain't saying no. I'm not gonna say they'd be good, but I'm saying that winning record should stay intact just because of the talent that they got on the field.
But the future, we're talking about the future though. The future is TJ Watt, who's asking for a contract extension. Isn't going to be TJ Watt for too much longer. Eventually these defense plays will fall off a cliff. Michael Parsons the same way. And either way, they got cut up by Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. You think that's not going to happen again in the regular season?
Well, we'll get to that. We can get these other 2 topics, but I'm sure y'all gonna have the same takes.
And the last thing for me, Ken, since everybody in the chat, Niggas, I know my team fucking suck. Y'all ain't gotta tell me.
Talk about the Saints,
Damn,
nigga.
ain't a
Come on,
nigga.
talk about everybody
I've never
else. Talk about the Saints, nigga.
Listen, I've never been a nigga to shy away to say my team suck when they suck, and they do, and it is what it is. It is what it is.
Did you?
We made bad choices in the draft. I want my GM gone.
Did you think that they were going to draft Shedeur at one point?
No, I never thought they were going to draft Shedeur.
Wow.
Because I think they're waiting for more, like a better chance of having like a higher prospect. Like they want to.
They want.
No, they're not. Because
did you say a wider prospect
they want
or a higher prospect?
They want
hire somebody that can play.
They want a better prospect because it's not even like our roster is going to be great enough to compete right now. So like, yeah. What was the point of doing that when you can probably get a better quarterback next year?
I get that.
I know. Well, let's go here, bro. Y'all were just talking about it. The New York Knicks. The New York Knicks took care of business on the road last Sunday. Today is Tuesday. By still in game 4, 94-93, and went undefeated on the road in Detroit. With a potential closeout game coming up back in Madison Square Gardens, do you think the Knicks are proving their doubters wrong by showing they are true contenders?
Nick definitely wrote that.
And did the Pistons get screwed over by the refs in game 4?
No, man. Right. No. Hold on, man. Look, thoughts on this series overall. I understand that, Nick, you wrote this when, before tonight, obviously. But to me, what we're witnessing during this series is what I was saying. And sometimes you got to bend the rules a little bit, right? I always talk about 3 to 5, and you need, a couple of more mango seasons, this, that, and the third. But
he doing the bending now.
What we are watching are the Detroit Pistons growing up right before our eyes. That, what was it, game 1, or I think it was game 2, where they gave up the 21-0 run to the Knicks and lost that game. That was game 1. They haven't played like that since, right? They like this game right here, they closed them out. Even though the Knicks made some big shots down the stretch, you can see the level of Cade Cunningham, like, okay, bet we're not gonna let that happen again. You know what I'm saying? Being calm, cool, collected under pressure, being able to get the buckets that they want to get and dictate how the game is gonna be played out in those waning moments. Now, I'm not gonna front, Nick. Part of the success that the Pistons are having is that Brun is not 100% right now. And it seems like every game there's two to three times where he just tweaks it even more. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how many more shots or what type of therapy he could take to, get him back. Because this is just the first series, so you're talking about title contenders. They need him to be as close to 100% as possible. And we know it only gets more grueling as you win series. Not saying that they're gonna win the series. I still got the Pistons. I think they close them out. I think they win 3 straight. And again, like I said, it's gonna give New York clarity. They got to move on. They're gonna have to move on from Thibodeau. But it is what it is, man. Great series nonetheless. But we're watching the Pistons grow up right before
3 straight.
FIFO is a hater. FIFO and Kyle are haters. Kyle, 12 Kyle, shout out to 12 Kyle. He's a hater because I swear, kid, what was FIFO at? That's what I hated about these weekend games. Because like when we come back on Tuesday, something told me I was like, watch the Pistons win on Tuesday, so FIFO can say, "Oh, I was right to get it." No, you wasn't, because you said Pistons and what, Ken? And what game we about to go into? and the Pistons won it yet?
Nope.
Yeah, but it's about to be tied.
So, and they was down 3. They was down 3-1 going into this game. So my thing is this: I have always said Knicks in 7, because I said the same thing that we've been seeing in all these games. Ken, the late game execution with the Knicks needs to be worked on, and FIFO can even attest to this because he watched the game while we were recording this. The late game execution for the Knicks has not been good. Again, partially some of that's due to injury to Brunson, but at the same time, he's been playing these games. He's playing phenomenal, so I don't use that as an excuse. If he's in the game, he's in the game. Same thing we do with football. If you playing, you playing. Fuck all that shit. The thing that has me agitated and irritated is something that Sheldon, you brought up in the chat as well. Bridges pisses me off a lot of these games.
I know.
OG Anunoby has been playing great. He's been stepping up the most. Cat, I wish he was more consistent, but he played great in game 4, so I can't really hate him for that. But Bridges doesn't know what he's doing on his team. And I gotta credit that to Tom Thibodeau not giving him a legit role in this offense. He is just a catch and shoot, turnaround, fadeaway. He acting like he's Jordan, or he acting like he Melo. He ain't none of them. You know what I'm saying? As far as having a turnaround fadeaway. So I think that's been hurting us. I'm nervous about going back to Detroit, but even if we lose that game, we gotta win it in 7 for me to be right at home. But I hope that so far, like I mentioned in the thing, the Knicks have been undefeated on the road, so we just got to get one. We just need one more win. I don't see Detroit winning 2 straight, because they haven't won 2 straight throughout this whole series. So the Knicks, I'm hoping that they take care of business. A closeout game is always the hardest thing to close out. Even the Celtics are fighting right now to close out their series. I don't know what the score is right now.
No, they're not. Not no more.
Not no more.
21.
Okay. I saw
but it was close for a minute.
Yeah, it was close for a minute.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, closeout games are hard, especially when you have the thing that I've been noticing is to your second question, Ken, the inconsistencies of the refs. That's something that I'm not blaming the refs or anything, because obviously it worked out in the Knicks' favor for that. But as far as if you're gonna let them be physical, let them be physical. But if you're gonna call fouls, like, you know what I'm saying? Like don't hide the whistle here and there. Like, just either let them play, or you're gonna call the fouls as they are. Because like some of these, if you look at FIFA, I know you've been watching the game. I was like, damn, they just really letting these motherfuckers just play. Like
they did.
And then they'll call ticky-tack fouls on some other shit. And I'm like, that's inconsistent. But yeah, game 6 is gonna be nuts in Detroit. We already know Big Sean. Who gonna come out? Big Sean, P. Grizzly,
Hey, Peyton Pritchard is going off right now.
I swear, Vezzo, is he from Detroit?
He is.
Boldy James, he gonna be the nosebleeds though.
Selling his album, his 13th album he dropped this year. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, interesting series, man. I think this is one of the times where you guys have constantly I think you guys will be 2 for 2 when you talked about playoff inexperience, and their inexperience cost them 2 wins in this series. I think blew a 20-point lead in the last game, and finally managed to get a win tonight. But to turn this into the ability to win 3 straight, I don't see that, because that relies on them coming back to New York to win in Game 7 on the road, and that they've never done that before. That
they
might
play
be
with
a
house
little
money.
bit too much. That's a
house
lot
money.
to ask for.
All of the pressure is on the Knicks at that point. They're the better team. They're the higher seed, right? Again, Thibodeau is hot seat. I talked about it already. All of the pressure is on the Knicks. If the Pistons lose, the Pistons lose. But if the Knicks lose, that's a whole different conversation.
Okay.
So, FIFA, you said they wasn't a better team. What are you talking about?
I think they need to bring on the AI refs, though.
I feel that, Ken. I'm just talking about like in the media's eyes, not my eyes. I don't consider myself with the media. My takes don't always be in line.
Stay on that side. He walked out of that one, didn't he?
Yeah, stay on that side. Don't try to do it. Stay on
this
that
ain't
side,
what I'm saying. He pulled the shelter. This is not what I'm saying. This is what everybody else is saying.
Everybody else saying this. I'm gonna ride the fence. So I
ain't riding no fence. No fence. Nick, you know what I drink, my boy. I need that bottle of Hennessy, my boy.
No, you gonna owe Lou a bottle, because I'm just gonna pass it to whatever you want. I'm gonna tell you to get it.
Nigga. We're trying to pass that shit off, nigga. You owe me a bottle. I don't want no.
You right. Hey Lou, you tell me what you owe, and you go get that.
All right.
So what did they play again? They play Thursday, Friday.
Let me run this quick ad, and then we'll be back for the last segment and the worst of the week, along with FIFO's power rankings, super chats, and we'll close out the show. Oops. How about I run the right ad? How about that? I'm off tonight. If you are a fan of hip hop and love unfiltered discussions on the culture, check out Dead in Hip Hop. From album reviews to hip hop debates, Dead in Hip Hop always keeps it real. Go to youtube.com/Dead in Hip Hop and search for Dead in Hip Hop or DEHH to subscribe now. Dead in Hip Hop, no politics, no BS. Oh man, let's get into it. This is what I hope you guys have been hanging around waiting for. The Timberwolves defeated the Los Angeles Lakers on Sunday, 116-113 in glorious fashion, positioning Anthony Edwards as one of the true superstars of the league. Can the Timberwolves make a run to the NBA Finals this postseason? And on the flip side, the Lakers, man, what is the biggest issue holding the Lakers back in this series? And I got to say this. I'm glad you put this on here. This past Sunday, and I put this in the chat, J.J. Redick's decision to play only his starters for the entire second half had been seen since the start of the play-by-play era around 1997 and 1998, and it also resulted in a loss. Magic Johnson even had this to say: I don't know if it was smart to play LeBron and Luka the entire second half after only having 1 day of rest between game 3 to game 4. When we needed LeBron to take over in the fourth quarter, he couldn't. He scored 0 points in the fourth quarter. Not only that, he had a very, very crucial turnover, and then he took a hero shot as well. So, what say you guys? Spike, what you thinking? Besides,
He thinking about Wednesday.
I will get out the way quickly. Redick, all of the criticism that he's received from playing the 5 guys for the majority of the quarter, all of the quarters, it makes sense because everybody went into this like, oh, you just a podcast dude, you LeBron fan, that's why you got this job. And for him to play them, and then we see how tired Luka was, how tired LeBron was throughout these 4 quarters. It's like, bro, you're not a good coach. And I don't know if that's going. I don't know if that goes to like for him being a coach down the line. But right now, you're not a good coach, and you're the reason that we lost this game.
Shelton?
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say I want to hear what FIFO got to say, kid. This is I would save my comments after FIFO go, but go ahead, Shelton.
It's just proven that we overestimated what JJ brought to the table, and we talk about in-game adjustments. Is regular season is one thing, but we all know that the playoffs is a totally different beast, and we're seeing that he ain't exactly what we thought he was, as well as the fact that like we talked about earlier, and I put LeBron on watch early this year, and I understand, and I saw what somebody said this too, and I'm gonna say this same point. They said, dang, when LeBron plays well, it's like, man, I can't believe he's doing all this and he's 40 years old. But when he plays bad, it's like, come on, man, he's 40. It's kind of like you want to have it both ways. And I get it. I get why people doing that. But at the same time, I put him on watch because I felt like this is closer to the LeBron that we are at now at this point than the one that was just dominating early. So go ahead.
Can I ask you one question, Sheldon? You mentioned one name, but you didn't mention another name. So you put this all on LeBron?
No. I was gonna get to him too. I was gonna get to Luka too. No. I wasn't done. Luka does not get a pass in this either. They brought Luka in at this point to basically take over and be the man and lead this team and galvanize it. At this point, Luka is not doing what I feel like Luka should be doing, which is you should be making sure that you're getting everybody involved and elevating the play of the ones around you. You did it in Dallas. You need to be doing it here, and he's not doing that either. So I think this is a 3-headed monster. But we're gonna talk about the others because they ain't doing what they're supposed to do either. But this 3-headed monster
to do anything,
right? This 3-headed monster, they're all at fault. All 3 of them. You can look at JJ, you can look at LeBron, and you can look at Luka.
Oh, I thought you was talking about AR-15.
Oh, yeah.
He had some big shots in that fourth quarter, Nick.
What about that last shot game 4?
I think he gave him the lead in the shot, though. And he's not supposed to be taking that shot, though.
Nick, he wasn't even expecting to get the ball. So when he got that ball, that was a hot potato coming.
Yeah, AR did his thing in that fourth quarter, bro. He had like he had a big-ass 3.
That's the playoffs, though. You know what I'm saying? When you get your opportunities, you got to knock them down.
And he was, but
Yeah,
that wasn't this spot to be in. We know who spot
that was Austin.
He did his job.
Everybody say they all call that nigga Reeves.
As AR being one of the others, I just need him to show up at least 2 games. He's had moments, but he hasn't had an imprint on any one of these games. When we're slicing up the pie, to me, JJ and Luka get the biggest slices. LeBron is still one of the leaders on that team, so he gets it as well. However, I didn't know this. I just saw this stat today. He leads all players in the playoffs with individual defensive rating. So that's crazy to be at 40 and still, having an impact on the game. That being said, JJ gets the biggest piece of the pie when it comes to this series. We've seen him have great coaching stretches in the regular season, but the in-game adjustments is what separates the legends from the guys that just get to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And right now, it is his rookie season. I will shoot him a little bit of bail, but it don't look good. And here's the thing, in all honesty, the difference in this game, and I feel that the Lakers aren't getting the same type of calls that the Wolves are getting right now, but the difference is Ant Edwards. Ant Edwards is, like Bomani said, or I think it was Bomani, or somebody I was listening to, and I 100% agree. He's the Dragon Slayer right now. He went and cut KD last year, talking all types of shit in his face. He's over here getting super physical with LeBron this year. You know what I'm saying? In all honesty, I know I picked the Lakers, but I want the Wolves to win. I want them to go play Golden State. I want them to go play Golden State so I can see Ant Edwards take down the 3 OGs. He took down KD last year. He's obviously dismantling the Lakers and LeBron this year. If he could do that to Golden State and Steph as well, bro, like outside of winning a championship, what else would be more prestigious for a budding young superstar to do what he's been doing? Now, here's the thing. The reason why I would like to see the Wolves just take the Lakers out is because even if the Lakers flip a switch and somehow miraculously make it out of this series, they're not going as far as I thought they were initially. You know what I'm saying? I was wrong. I could admit it. And I just don't see them doing. I don't have analysis for them to do anything to get out of this series. Like, I have supreme confidence in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? I see the path. I don't see the path with the Lakers. Not with Ant Edwards playing the way he's playing.
Damn. It's funny seeing people talk about him being the Dragon Slayer and say, oh, he took down KD and now he's going to take down LeBron. We're going to see him take down Steph. And motherfuckers forget Luka on the fucking team, who just went to the finals. But we'll talk about Luka. It's his time coming.
Ken, it's just that Luka is not a legend in the game yet. Like, he's still right. Luka's a legend.
I agree with what you're saying. I agree with that statement, but I also remember vehemently arguing with you guys about Luka being the best player on that team.
No, so okay. Two things can be certain. I think Luka is the best player on that team, but to me, if his career ended right now, I don't know if he's first. Well, based on some people that have gotten in there, he'll make the Hall of Fame. But to me, he hasn't like etched his name in stone just yet. Like, he's still writing in.
I thought he doesn't he have a nickname as Luka Legend? Somebody called him that.
Is that his name?
A lot of things. Luka Legend, Luka Lasagna.
Nick, do you think he's a legend right now?
I personally, I think we haven't properly had a good conversation about Luka.
And yeah, we haven't. But hold on to that.
I think that. So, like, for me, I'm waiting for this series to be over with as far as the Lakers and the Wolves for me to really truly have that conversation. But Ken, were you finished with your points?
Well, and I'll try to be as brief as possible. This was a coaching loss 100% through and through. This is JJ Redick, who I think has done a fairly good job, but up to this point. But you cannot make this sort of decision to play your players the whole second half and you have a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Gabe Vincent is is in you have to have show that you have confidence in those guys. You have LeBron and Luka who can find those guys for passes that can set them up to hit shots. You got Dalton Connect who can shoot a three. You got Gabe Vincent who can shoot a three. I think they need to play Jackson Hayes. This is the thing that got Darvin Ham fired. Rotations. This is him showing bad rotations in the playoffs. The issue with Darvin Ham is he showed it throughout the whole season. JJ Redick is exposing his ability to coach in the playoffs this year. And if he has those same issues, then he's going to be up out of there. His rotations have been better, but now the pressure is on, and he got desperate to win a game, and he tried to get cute. There's no need to do that because you need LeBron and Luka to have energy. Look, Magic already said it made no sense for him to do that. You got to try to get your players some rest. And if JJ Redick was on that podcast with LeBron or on First Take with Stephen A. Smith, JJ Redick would be saying the same fucking shit about himself. So why the fuck did he even do it? It didn't make any fucking sense. So yeah, he deserves all of the blame for what happened in that game. But I'm not gonna leave. I already talked about LeBron's turnover, which was horrible, and that 26-foot three-pointer that he shot with under a minute left in the game that made no sense up to after I think A.R. Reeves gave him the lead. I also remember Luka taking that same three-pointer, a 25-footer that he missed. And I also remember Luka fouling Anthony Edwards on a three-point shot as well, and Anthony Edwards hit all three when they had like a 5-point lead or something like that. So Luka made his mistakes too. They should not be losing this series. I'm sorry. Not with Luka and LeBron, because that's how they got Luka. They got Luka. They going to the finals. Luka just went to the finals, bro. They got Luka. Yeah. They got Luka, man. Oh my God, Nico traded away for Luka. What the fuck difference Luka making on this team now? So that's my thing, man. I think that it's a long way to go, but it's not looking good. Salute to Edwards, though. I mean, sometimes, hey man, he might be ready. This might be it. Sometimes you don't see it until it happens. Like when Jordan took down Isaiah, when Magic got old. You know what I'm saying? And this might be the thing. So it might be Edwards' time, bro.
You might be right, Ken, because he's really locked in. Like he don't even want to raise no baby. He would focus on this.
He don't want no distractions, man.
My thing is, Ken, one of the things that I truly like about myself is that I'm willing to live and die on my takes. I don't know what the fuck FIFO just said right now. I'm still processing that because he started off the series talking about hey, Lakers going far. JJ is watch out for JJ to talk about I hope the Wolves win. What are you talking about? What are you saying?
Put them out their misery, man.
I've been calling out JJ since he got hired, kid. Yep. I said, I was like, bro, I don't trust him. And motherfuckers was like, look what he doing. He got the best defense in this part of the season. He been doing this. FIFO talked about rotations. He said he figured out the rotation. Man. What JJ did was one of the most disrespectful things, I think, in NBA history. He said, fuck a bench. He said, you niggas don't deserve to get on the court, period. that is the most if I was you could argue that going into, like, he basically said the series was over already by doing that. Because how can you as a team go into the next game and say my coach has confidence in me to do my job? Yeah. How can you say that? When he said that there's 5 to 6 to whatever other players left on that bench can help us win. When he didn't even put you in, he was willing to let a 40-year-old man with over 20,000 minutes continue to put miles on his body. He let a fat motherfucker, he let that fat motherfucker hobble around thinking he was going to get in shape by the fourth quarter. This, to me, this is why I said, let's just wait to see. I called him out, Ken. We said, what was it? We need to talk or on watch, one of them. Mm-hmm. I said, let's see what he does. Because he's the reason why they will either get far or not, because we already know what LeBron and Luka can do in the playoffs, but we also know that we also know that teams live and die by their head coach. This is why people said the Knicks, for as talented as they are, Thibodeau may be what holds them back. You know what I'm saying? So when you see something that's never happened in NBA history and it's not a positive thing, that speaks volumes. And I don't want this to be all about the Lakers team, because I'm the only one that picked the T-Wolves to win in 6. Yeah. And I was the main one that said y'all got Ant fucked up, because this dude, we're looking at it in a series, like people, like we talked about it, like Luka, as far as that, like I think Ant is better than Luka, if you ask me personally, and he's proven that in this series.
Me too.
Because he can legit do it on both ends as far as offense and defense. That's no question. And he can match you score for score. Luka dropped 38 last game, and Ant had over 40. He basically erased everything. And Luka only had, 1 rebound and 2 assists? He's supposed to be the white Magic Johnson. And now he's with the Lakers. He's even more supposed to be the white Magic Johnson. And he ain't done shit on that side of the ball. And that's my main criticism. The criticism that I've had that we called out in the show, I was like, the Lakers don't have enough size. The Lakers don't have a good bench. The Lakers don't have a good coach. It all got on display in game 4. And again, I'm not saying I'm still giving. I said the Lakers will lose in 6 because I said LeBron is worth 2 games. He got one more. I'm giving him one more game, Ken. It's going back to home to LA. LeBron has to win that game. Yeah, for his legacy. He can't get gentleman's sweep at home. That'll be nuts. But yeah, this is just. I had never seen that before, where you say fuck the bench.
Yeah, that was insane. And the thing about it is that this is the last thing I'll say, and then we'll go to worst of the week with Spike. Is that one thing I've been seeing people say is that with Luka, you can alternate them too because of how they play, and they get everybody involved. And I've seen people say that they play better when LeBron is off the court. So why not rest LeBron and just play Luka? It made no sense what he was doing.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
it just, I don't know, man. So anyway, it's not over yet.
Kind of like Golden State. You got to have one of them on the floor. You got to have Jimmy, or you got to have Steph. Same thing with Luka and LeBron. One of them should be on the floor at all times, but they should both get their rest. Exactly. In fourth quarter, play the full fourth quarter.
Exactly. Speaking of rest, Spike.
Yes,
you are up with your worst of the week.
My worst of the week.
Oh, Shedeur did.
That's about right.
No,
overtime.
No, it ain't what y'all think. Thank you, Jalen, for getting the graphics right. It's the NFL. How they were hating on Shedeur all this week. Everything that went into him not being drafted, not being the first couple round picks. We were told by scouts, Mel Kiper, all of these people who are supposedly good at their job, that he's going to be a first couple round picks. And then we see him not being drafted in those first couple rounds, and we're wondering what's going on. So my worst of the week is to the NFL as far as everything that they made us speculate about. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. Oh, is it racism? Is it this? Is it that? All of these different things were able to be lingering out there in the air because we were told that Shedeur Sanders was going to be a top draft pick. Like, I don't understand how he was going from, he's going to be from maybe the first or third round to the 5th round. Worst of the week.
Spike, they also told you that he wasn't going to be a first round pick. They also started modifying those drafts. They also started telling you all kind of other shit.
He was
yes, they did, Spike. You just didn't want to listen. You just didn't want to listen. But that's FIFA Power Rankings. You up.
All righty. So y'all wanted me to talk about the biggest choke jobs in NBA history.
I called it something else.
Whoa.
You could have called it anything else.
Whoa.
Bring out a lizard.
We are not talking. No. It's the biggest choke jobs in NBA history. But the modern era. Okay, so I didn't go back to the 60s, 70s. I didn't go to college. That's why I said NBA, modern era. So at number 5, I have the 2017 OKC Thunder blowing a 3-1 lead against the Warriors, which subsequently got KD to the Warriors. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. When you have a team like that down, how can you not just win one more? So got them at number 5. At number 4, this is Nick's favorite player in the playoffs, James Harden, and his Houston Rockets missing 27 threes in the Western Conference Finals Game 7. Bro, how did you missed 27 threes?
I do.
Bro,
that was Mike D'Antoni team, right?
Yes, that was the D'Antoni team. That is wild. At number 3, I got LeBron James and the Heatles against the Mavericks in the finals back in 2011. Obviously, the majority of that onus is on LeBron. D-Wade, Ken showed up. The others was decent enough. They played good enough to win, but LeBron wasn't that guy. So that's one of the biggest choke jobs in NBA Finals history. At number 2, Nick Anderson missing 2 free throws against the Rockets in the Game 1 of the NBA Finals, which turned that whole series around. Orlando looked like the young up-and-coming team that was going to be able to get over the wily veterans, and that game turned that whole series and Nick Anderson's career upside down.
What up, Nick? He might be watching.
Friend of the show. I'm about to say friend of the show, FIFO.
He is a friend of the show. He is a friend of the show, so I appreciate him. But I'm just speaking facts. I'm just speaking facts. It is what it is. And at number 1, the biggest choke job in NBA history.
Oh, come on, Paul.
The 73-9 Golden State Warriors lose a 3-1 lead to the LeBron James-led Cleveland Cavs, bringing their first championship to Cleveland. First and foremost, that team went all in for that record, for that 73-9 record, but came up short. And here's the thing about that, and Ken can definitely back me up. When they were down 3-1, I kept saying in our text group at the time that in sports was a lot different. It was BZ on the show, 12 Kyle was on the show. I kept saying Cavs in 7. FIFO, how they go? Cavs in 7. I didn't want to. I was not giving y'all niggas no more analysis. I told y'all what it was going to be, and the Cavs did it. But that is definitely the biggest choke job in NBA history when you have 73-9 and up 3-1 and lose that series in the finals of the NBA. So those are the top 5 modern era choke jobs in the NBA.
Nigga, how you not have Doc Rivers on this list nowhere?
Bro, I don't know, bro. I don't know. What's quiet as is kept.
Because to me, hold on. I'll answer that because a couple of those Clippers teams, in my opinion, and y'all can go back and watch the tape, I never felt that they were true title contenders. All of these teams, minus maybe the Houston Rockets team, even though I know they had like a top 3 record in the West, these all were real championship contenders. To me, those Clippers teams were not. And then missing 27 threes, like that's just ridiculous. So that's why they had to make it.
If you ain't got to pick that one, FIFO, you could pick the 12 other ones. He gave up the other leads. But I was just gonna say, I was thinking of it's funny that we talking about Doc because JJ Redick was the one criticizing him the most, and now this nigga doing some shit that ain't never been done in the NBA.
The same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, crazy. And they were saying that for the record that was 2016, not 2017.
Well, Golden State.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the right year before.
So I just want to get that on record for people listening. All right, cool. Appreciate it, FIFO. Your power rankings, your top 5 NBA stuff. Let's read these super chats, man, and call it a night. And member chats, appreciate everybody. TJ Clark, them Shannon allegations might get him cooked for real. It's a wrap.
It's a Reynolds wrap, bro.
It's over.
It's a Reynolds wrap. I don't even know if I can say I'm sorry about it because That nigga was talking hella cash shit, Lou, about other motherfuckers who.
I ain't sorry about it. No, fuck him. Like it's over, bro. Like he the one at 56 years old decided to do this. Like, nah, I ain't capable.
Hey, anyway. Saquon Barkley has a nice ring to it.
Hey, someone was talking
Sheldon, respond to that. Respond to that,
Sheldon. They said they mentioned me here your day. I was like, bro, I can't co-sign none of that, bro. That nigga hit us with the Jordan Line Republicans by they like football too.
Hey, let him talk, Nick. Let him talk.
Hey, I ain't got no. Hey, man, shut up and run.
Yeah, man, shut up.
Not
let's see. Yeah, that was wild. They whooping his ass online.
they are.
Hey, that's his man, Skin.
He deserved it.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
TJ Clark, Ant dropped 40 to beat the Lakers on Sunday. Spike, LMAO, he way more deserving.
Okay. What? Thank you, TJ.
Probably the best performance of the week, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was Shedeur.
That's cool.
Just say Shedeur took that the grace, bruh. Anyway, Mr. G Nugget. What if Shedeur gets cut from the Browns roster? It's a real possibility. There's 4 QBs on the team, and he won't get many snaps.
If he's that talented, he'll wow them in camp. I'm sorry.
That's my belief.
Yeah. Like there's
ain't no way.
Yeah.
If nothing else, you get tape for other teams, but
I think the one that gets cut is Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
I say because like they're not paying Kenny that much. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option. Even with Flacco, Flacco could be safe because he's already been in their system before and he took him to he had a nice run, but he's not getting paid that much either.
they're not gonna cut.
Only one that's not getting cut is Deshaun. Obviously, that's the only one that's not getting cut. Everybody else, like Dylan Gabriel, I don't think he's that talented either. Like, so if Shedeur, again, I will be shocked if he's not the starter by the end of the season.
We them boys. OKC, Houston, or Brooklyn. Where should Giannis go next? Terrible loss for them, bro. That was crushing.
I say
Golden State.
The only team that has enough assets to really make a run for it is OKC. And if they do that and keep, I would say you could have anybody but SGA. That would be a nice team because they already got hella. You can let that motherfucker go. They got hella draft picks. They got hella players that they don't give enough minutes to.
Yeah.
SGA and Giannis, that's a mean combination.
That was, speaking of workers' loss, that loss was atrocious. And that I try to take up for Dark River sometimes, but man, that was awful. That was
what happened?
They were up. They were up. They had a chance to win the game. The game ended up going to overtime. They had a shot.
Yeah, they were up 7 with like 40 seconds to go or something like that.
Was 40 seconds?
It was
something like that.
Tonight
they should have won the game.
Yeah,
they should have won the game. They made it to overtime and lost the game, and then they got into a scuffle at the end of the game. Giannis was going around shaking hands and stuff, and then it was an Indiana Pacers player. I don't even know who it is. I don't know if he gets minutes like that. But then I don't know what Giannis said to him. Yeah, he tried to push Giannis away, and then Giannis a big motherfucker, bro.
So this super chat right here from Flavian, is that what you're talking about? Giannis crashed out after the Pacers.
I saw him. Yeah, I saw him up.
Tyrese Halliburton's dad and Benedict Mathurin's. Okay.
Yes,
he really did.
So it was Benedict, that dude. I can't even say his last name. Yeah. And then he was in Tyrese Halliburton's dad's face. You could tell like he was in his face, but there was respect. Like, I'm not gonna hurt you, old man, but like you talking some shit, and I'm gonna let you know that you shouldn't be talking this shit right now. You know what I'm saying? But with the Pacers players, you could tell it's like if somebody really like threw a punch, bro, I'm about to mess y'all up. Like, don't try me like that. Yeah. Don't try me.
Yeah, they were trying to separate. They were trying to get in there between him and his dad, and that's why I was trying to figure out what was going on. But I was running behind, so I had to pause it. I paused it right there to go back and watch it again to see what happened. But it was a bad look. But Giannis was tired, man. Giannis was gassed in the fourth quarter, and I saw it because he was doing so much. Once again, he drugged this team.
Man, I forgot who mentioned it. It was either on one of the podcasts, but also it was in our chat too. Giannis has been averaging 30. 12 and 6 for the last 7 years, bro. bro, you gotta get. He need to get. He's literally seen what happened to Dame Lillard's career, and he's seeing it like you don't want to wait till after everything is done and said for, and then go. You need to go now. KG said the same thing. They told him to ask leave early, and he left. And luckily, he left late enough to get the ring, but nah.
All right. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the game. Rayshawn, Nick and Kim, make sure.
Hey, shout out to Rayshawn, bro.
Yeah.
you must like watching Coons if you've been a 38 months.
Hey, I'm just saying, bro. Hey.
It's crazy. My thing is more of like, is it that crazy to say that he ain't that good? That's all I'm saying.
That's all I was asking, Dick.
That crazy.
Yes, nigga.
I'm not saying he's. I've never said he was trash. All I said is he just ain't that good. It's like, Sheldon, what do I always say? If you got a 7 walking in with a room full of 5s, that don't mean she a 10. You know what I'm saying?
Still mean she a 7 though.
We watched Zach Wilson. We watched Zach Wilson go second, and they raved over him. So if Zach
and I said, and we argued about that too. We always call out the bullshit. We always do. What are you talking about?
I was just asking the question. What if he isn't? We don't know, but we'll find out. Once Shedeur's OC compared him to Daniel Jones, his fate was sealed. Damn, that's rough.
He's nothing like Daniel Jones, though. He ain't the athlete Daniel Jones was. I'm just being honest.
That ain't helping his case, people.
I'm just being honest, though.
Nah, you about to get sheltered and spite riled up again. Don't do that.
You're going to letter from Jesse Jackson tonight.
Marty McFly, we get sheltered shit for switching teams, but Jalen Hurts a real one, unlike Saquon and the goofy online who sat with Orange Hill. Their Q's don't lose.
Yes, sir.
Sheldon the
Y'all saw Jalen. Y'all saw Jalen.
No,
Jalen
we
said he got. Jalen said he got. Yeah, you're right. You didn't see him. Jalen,
man, Sheldon, you better than this. I told Spike, you better than this, bro.
He has something else to do, man.
You better than it's gonna come back.
He has
it's gonna come back on you. He ain't stand on it. He ain't stand on it like he said. He didn't.
I agree with Jalen. He ain't stand on it.
You know, Jalen Hurts ain't gotta say nothing.
He stood on a pile of shit.
He don't have to say anything. He just don't show up. Like, I ain't going, y'all. That's my statement.
So say that then.
The same thing y'all telling him to do is the same reason that y'all are condemning Shedeur. So it's the same thing. Shedeur talk too much. So you don't say it. You just stand with your actions.
Hey, Sheldon, now remember this now. It's gonna come back and bite you. I'm telling you now.
No, absolutely.
I just want you to realize now.
That's what I'm talking about, Jalen.
All right.
I agree with
Other Jalen.
Bro, I tell you, bro. That was it. That's wow. Okay. FIFO though. What's up with Jalen Green, bro?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that wasn't even shout out to Marty.
He tried to hide on it.
Know from basketball people. Y'all are basketball people. Tell me what's going on with dude.
He's young and inconsistent. This is his first playoffs. He's within his 3 to 5. Like, he needs more mental seasons.
Hey Ken, that's why I've always hated FIFO's range of time because he said he has half decade to be better at his job.
Yes.
Get the fuck out of here.
Now, when he had a good game the other night, FIFO didn't say that then. You know what I'm saying?
But
he had a good game.
He said it was egregious. It was egregious to even have him in trade talks.
Right.
I 100% because
you can't give up.
You can't give up on that level of talent this early in his career, in my opinion. That's not something I would do as a GM. You got to give your guys, especially if you draft them, as much opportunity to show you exactly what they are. This is his first playoff experience. You know what I'm saying? This is going to help him next season. Right now is not the time to judge should he be traded or not. To me, this is the time that it's growing pains. It's just growing pains. Next year, he needs to be more consistent.
Well, he's a runt compared to his other teammates because they're growing so much faster. They look so much more ready than he does, and he's letting them down so bad. Jabari Smith should be getting those minutes that he get. He need to be over there on the sidelines, FIFO. I'm sorry. Now, Nick, I don't agree with you, Nick. Say what you was gonna say, Nick, because I don't agree with you on that. What you gonna say?
I was gonna say, what about Cade Cunningham? Somebody brought that up in the chat.
Yeah, no, 100%. I always said that there's exceptions to the rules. I've always said that.
Wrap it up. Wrap it
Exceptions to the rules. That's why I picked Detroit, though.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
why go back last week. That's why I picked Detroit.
Bro, you got
Hey, man.
I explained it.
Hey, you got the Euro step on lock with these.
I'm just making analysis.
FIFO, that was crazy though. Is when I used to tell you that Cade was better than Jalen Green back then. You used to always disagree with that though.
I said that I said Jalen Green had more upside based off his athleticism, but I always agreed that Cade Cunningham's game was gonna be what it is right now. Like he can control the flow of the game. You know what I'm saying? I just said that the difference for me was the athletic ability that you can't teach.
Nah, Cade, that guy.
All right, man. Well, if you guys I should have said this earlier, but we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight for the conversation. We know a lot of you guys were here for Cade. We hope some of you guys stayed for the rest of the show. I mean, not for Cade, for Shedeur.
Hey Ken, man. Hold on before you wrap up.
That was the real top 5 pick, kid. That's what you was thinking of.
Okay, before you wrap up, I just wanted to say the Boston Celtics beat the Orlando Magic in a gentleman's sweep 4-1, 120-89. I will say this: Banchero and Franz Wagner showed their ass as true ballers on that squad. They just don't have enough firepower. But like, you know, Nick was watching the game for the first like 3.5 quarters, bro. They was right there with them. They just don't have enough firepower. If the Hawks do want to get rid of Trae Young, Orlando needs to be the first team trading anything and everybody except for those two guys to get them over there, because they just need more firepower. Like, because they have 2 dogs on that squad already.
Yeah.
But shout out to Orlando.
Franz played point. I was like, dang, I seen him playing point. I was like a couple different times. So he impressed me tremendously. I mean, we know what
bringing up the ball too.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yep. And Banchero had like at least 3 or 4 passes. I'm like, oh shit! I knew you could hoop, but the vision is there too. Like Banchero is really that guy. He just don't got enough dogs with him.
Oh, got it. Hit the subscribe button. We'll catch you guys next time. We are out. And make sure y'all come back because NFL season is going to be crazy. So if you guys are here just for NFL talk. But we'll catch you guys next time. We out. Peace.
Peace.